Hey, what is up, collecting crew? And welcome to the Figure Lowdown. This is episode 11. Man, I'm just getting past those double digits. For those of you that are new, thank you. Thank you first and foremost for giving me an opportunity to see what I'm made of for you, and to see what I've got. You know, if I make your cut in the regular YouTube list. For those of you that are returning, again, as always, appreciate the support and feedback, and thank you for coming back. And for catching me on this Saturday. I know this is an odd time for me. Usually I stream Saturday evenings. Well, Saturday evenings, California time, West Coast here in the States. And that I know that doesn't work for a lot of people, but I had some time availability today and I was able to stream this morning. There's one advantage to that, which I will touch on here in a little bit. But yeah, I know some of you are already going about your days, getting things done. Still, as I mentioned, California time here, we're at 11. So hopefully those of you here in my time zone, you're enjoying your cereal, whatever, honeycomb, cookie crisp. You're having a good morning so far. You know, this could be one of those things. I don't know if this show would fill in that Saturday morning cartoon spot that we all used to have one Saturday morning, you know, that used to wake up and just get that bowl of cereal and watch some cartoons. Yeah, but X-Men, speaking of, we're going to touch on that here a little bit later. But yeah, so going back to, for those of you that are new to the show, so Figure Lowdown is the stream or the show, I will say stream, chat, we'll say chat, where I talk about figures of multiple scales, bringing you the latest news and reveals. In 1/6, mostly 1/6 and 1/12. I collect, as you probably see, I don't know if you can or can't tell, I collect multiple scales myself. A lot of figures out there, and I like a lot of different IPs. So I have interest, right? This is one of my hobbies, one of my loves here, and as you all out there know, and you share that as well. And I try in this stream, in this series of streams, I try to bring you information on these figures. I try to do my research and share it with all of you, because for one, it's stuff that I would have appreciated to find out about certain things, and then for two, it makes it convenient for you all, right, to kind of not have to go around and search for certain things. And so sometimes I may not get it right. That's one of the reasons why I do it live, so you guys can correct me where I'm wrong on this information, but also an opportunity to chat with all of you. So as usual, most of the figures I'll be talking about in this stream will be down. Links for the description, links for the figures in the description below. They'll be there. So anytime you don't want to take a gander, take a look at those for reference. Feel free. Those should all be there, as well as links to my guest content, which I'll bring in here in a minute. And then for those of you watching the replay, the timestamp should be in there as well. So again, I try to do all the work up front for you all to make it convenient for you guys, give you that information. Where I can spend as much time as I can researching and looking into these figures for you, because this is honestly something that I would appreciate on mine. And so I figured I'd just turn it around and do that for you all. So it's all there for you. If I miss anything, as always, just let me know. I'm prone to errors, as we all are. So just correct me where I make mistakes. That happens. All right. But I thank you again for tuning in, for catching us. And with that, so if you go due east where I'm at, to the States, right? You jump on a boat, has to be a boat, no plane. You just continue heading due east over that somewhat big, large body of water, right? You keep going, you'll run into my next guest. They'll just be there at the docks waiting for you, because they're just both like awesome people and they're welcoming. So with that, I'll go ahead and bring them in. We got Peter Triple G Comics and The Empire Strikes. Gentlemen, welcome.
Hi.
That's right. So Peter, good to have you back. I know you've been on the show. It's been a while. So yeah. Back my apparently collecting stream, I think it was episode 4, which I'll touch back on here in a minute. But Phil, Empire Strikes, first time on the channel, man. Thank you both for being here. How are you doing, Phil?
Very good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course, man. What's that? Go ahead.
Really is a privilege. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And we were talking backstage, and as I mentioned in the intro here, one of the benefits of streaming in the morning on my time is that I'm able to stream with you guys if you're able to, for my fellow collectors in the UK and further, due east there. So I know it's not always convenient Sometimes I'm not able to catch Peter's stream, and I do watch the replay, but likewise, I'm sure that the case is for my stream as well. So schedule is just one of the challenges, right? But we made it work, and I'm glad you both were able to jump on and join me today with this. Peter, how you doing?
Very well, very well. I'm really pleased to be back, mate. Thank you so much for the very kind invite. I loved the show the last time I was on. Like you say, it's a challenge. I'm sure Phil will be the same. It's sometimes a challenge for us because of the time differences, trying to jump on each other's shows and things like that. So it's always nice when we can try and catch up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Real quick, one thing I always say and suggest, if you guys if you guys can give us some feedback on how our audio is, if the music's too loud, if one of us are coming in hot or not loud enough, please let me know and I'll do what I can on my end to fix that. All right, so before we go in, there's something I wanted to touch on here, and I'll pass it on over to Peter, but there's he's doing something that's really admirable in my eyes anyways, and I'm sure in a lot of people as well. And so I want to go ahead and turn it over to him and let him do his thing on this important event that he has going on. So with that, Peter, you want to go ahead and talk about this here?
Yeah, so thanks very much for giving us the opportunity to talk about this. This started off very small and it's gone a little bit mad. So I've always been a big supporter of mental health, and I think last time I was on your channel, we spoke a lot, didn't we, about everybody struggles with mental health and and all that kind of stuff. So I decided when I was lucky enough to get monetized at the end of last year that I would give all of my channel's revenue to mental health charities, and that's kind of how this started. As anybody that is monetized on YouTube knows, it doesn't come kind of in lots of thousands of pounds. It just kind of slowly takes away. So we're at the stage now where I've made a nice little amount of money to donate to a charity. So we thought we'd do this charity night, which is next Friday. It's actually going to be at 9 p.m. UK time now. So we thought we'd do this little charity night, but then it's just gone crazy. So the community is really getting behind this, and I've had message after message of people donating things to be auctioned. We set up a Just Giving page and people have started donating to that already. It really does warm this old man's heart when you see how people kind of come together and stuff. So what we're going to do is next Friday, we'll do a charity night. We're going to auction some action figures. We're going to auction some comic books, some CGC graded comic books. We're going to give away some stuff. We're going to talk nerdy things and all that kind of jazz. And then at the end of it, we'll total up how much we've got, and we're going to give it to a brilliant charity called Young Minds, which is a charity that specialises in young people with mental health challenges. So we'll be doing that next week. So yeah, really looking forward to it. It should be an interesting night.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's something, again, I mentioned this backstage, but this is something that I really admire that you're doing, Peter, because I agree. This is important. We all know mental health, especially in younger people or kids, where they can get the help they need earlier on. So it'll, help them cope later on as they develop in their life. Yeah. And so this is really awesome. And like Peter mentioned, I forgot to put the link in the description, but I'll drop the link to the last time he was on, like you mentioned, we had a discussion on mental health as part of that apparently collecting stream. And yeah, I thought it was really good. It was a lot of us that we were sharing some of our personal experiences.
It was really interesting because that was probably one of the first time I'd kind of disclosed a lot of my personal, for anybody that's watching, my daughter's struggled severely with mental health issues. And the amount of contact I got afterwards of people just saying, to all of us saying, thank you for just talking openly about it, because I think people hide it away. So it was a really powerful show. So again, thank you very much for inviting us on that one. It was great.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm glad you guys were able to open up. And as I mentioned there, what wasn't planned, it just happens naturally. Right? And it's just the power of being able to talk to people and about what you're going through. It just helps. It just comes out naturally. And that's awesome. So I'm glad you got all that feedback, positive feedback, and people were reaching out to you and, supporting. So that's just awesome. So yeah, like I said, I'll put that link in the description below. It's an apparently collecting stream, but thank you for sharing that, Peter. And yeah, for those of you who are interested, links to both these gentlemen, as I said, their social media will be in the description below. And then Peter's channel where you can find this and subscribe to get notifications for this and partake in that. So yeah, really good charity. And then worldwide, right? Mental health is just a worldwide concern. So any charity that you can provide that deals with that in any part of the world is just beneficial. to those.
Absolutely.
I'm sure they would appreciate it. And then Phil, The Empire Strikes, has great photography, so I put his IG down in the description below. So yeah, if you can show him some love. And yeah, man, it's just always doing a great job. All right. With that, let me go ahead and address the chat here. Of course, can't forget about the chat. Let me bring us back up here. Enhance. All right. So first up, we got SpongeBob, Mr. The Square Balls. Hey, Feezy, what is up, good sir? Classy Thomas, thank you for joining us. Happy Saturday, good sir. Of course, the Empire Strikes doing double duties. Appreciate it. That's awesome. I always like to see the panels getting engaged and involved with the chat while they're on. That's awesome. Action Figure Academy, Mike. He's well, howdy, folks. Thanks for joining us, Mike. Lane Kramer in the house. Feezy time. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Joey Z, it's 11:01. This is Yeah, my bad. I tried to, the time differences again, that just throws me off. And so, yeah, I'll try to be right on time next time. Thanks for coming, man. Appreciate you. Joey's my boy. He's like one of the guys I grew with, childhood friends. So thanks for coming in, man. Spotchka, I just noticed he changed his name, so he's no longer good old. He's Danny Spotchka. What is up, everyone? Thank you for coming through, Danny. Appreciate you watching. And we all know Calvin, low-key collector. My bro, what's going on? Thank you for coming through, Calvin. Let's see here. Going through Movie Canon, Geo. Hello, collectors. Thank you for joining us, Geo. He's going to have a stream later on today, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Geo. But be sure, if you're interested, give his channel a peek and see if there's anything that tickles your fancy there. He's also figures and movies, hence the name, the Movie Canon. So kind of similar to what I do here on my end. Oh, yeah, Action Figure Academy sitting on the dock. Yeah, mentioned Peter and Phil here, just waiting on the docks for you guys from the States to visit them. AJ Grusa in the house. Thank you for joining us. Greeting, friends. Hope all is well. All right. I think I got everyone. I'm sure we'll get more as they trickle in, but I appreciate you all again. Thank you for joining us here on your Saturday, on your weekends. All right. So with that, gentlemen, you ready to talk some figures?
Yeah.
All right. This is why we're here, right? So let's go ahead and jump on the line and rock our body on times to this next figure here. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. This is none other than Beetlejuice himself. Beetlejuice, Sideshow Beetlejuice. So this was brought up a lot of attention, a lot of talks recently, just because it kind of came out of nowhere, I think, and we'll get your thoughts on it here in a minute. But yeah, Sideshow, it went up for pre-order recently, so $280. Before I go into the price talk, let me just go over here what it comes with, and that's one of the factors. It's not a lot. So 11 hands, so 11 pairs, or not 11 pairs, 11 hands total. His handbook for the recently deceased, there you can see there, and nail file. Okay, and that's it. And then because of that, some people are thinking this is overpriced, and I can kind of see where that comes in. Initially, I thought 280 was decent. I'm not going to lie, just because comparing it to the Lost Boys David figure, that was 290. But that comes with, I think, some sort of like a stand and like somewhat of a diorama type of thing where you can, he hangs upside down. Cool figure. I definitely jumped on that one because I was a fan of Lost Boys. But comparing that to this, and considering this has synthetic hair, I thought it would be more than that, not considering the accessories this could come with. But yeah, lo and behold, it was just under that. And so I was thinking, okay, you know what? I guess it could be considered expensive if you compare it, for instance, like say a Hot Toys Catwoman, because the Catwoman also has synthetic hair. She comes with a diorama base, the one from the Dark Knight trilogy, and that was $290 as well, but it comes with a lot more. So it's just, it's interesting, right? So Peter, what do you think on the price here on this, and what are your thoughts on the figure?
Well, so Beetlejuice is one of my all-time favorites, and I missed out on because this is the second time they've done Beetlejuice, isn't it? I think there's an original. Yeah. But I don't normally collect horror-based figures, but I've just started picking them up. So I've got Ash and I've got Sam from Trick or Treat and things like that. Oh, nice. So when this came along, I was like, oh yeah, I have to get this. I have to get it. Michael Keaton. I love Michael Keaton to bits. Yeah. Then I saw the price. Then I saw the accessories, and I thought that's a bit weak in terms of what you get with it. Then I kind of convinced myself that the head sculpt wasn't as good as it could be. So I've spent a week or two moaning about it, And I did a show last night with a pal of mine where we showed this image, and I said, nah, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to rush into it. Nah. Guess what I did as soon as the show was finished? Pre-ordered the bloody thing. So yeah, I can't not get Beetlejuice in the collection. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've had to go for it because it's Michael Keaton. Yeah.
Yeah. No. It's funny you said, because I was kind of doing the same thing at first. I was like, I don't know, with Sideshow, I kind of heard some mixed things on it. I guess I'll hold off. But then I did the same thing, gave it some more thought. Then I was thinking about some other considerations, which I'll bring up here after Phil speaks on this. But I did the same thing. I ended up pre-ordering this. Same boat. Phil, what are your thoughts on this one? And what do you think about the price on this?
Well, I'm probably in the minority because I've never been a fan of Beetlejuice.
Okay, no. I've heard that before, so you're not. Yeah, I know at least one other person.
But my wife is. Originally I had no interest when this was announced. I thought, not whatever, but I'm never going to get it. Doesn't interest me. Didn't like the film. But kind of like Peter, then the more you're looking at it and you're convincing yourself, no, not interested. And then actually,
yeah.
And then the rarity factors coming in, and how sought after is it going to be, and
exactly.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those collectors to go, I'm going to buy that because I can make money on it further down the road. But what I was thinking was, maybe I could get it for my wife because she does love it. But then I'd probably feel a little bit guilty because I can guarantee it's going to make its way into my collection, like all the horror figures I've bought to have.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really do want this. The only thing that's sort of putting me off is the fact that it's a Sideshow figure, and I know they don't have a great reputation, figures-wise, and the hair looks a bit... I know his hair is wild, but really does look wild.
So I picked up a few years back, the Sideshow Justice League line. Don't know if you guys have got any of them.
I don't.
Stunning costumes, really, really nice costumes, but the actual figure itself was not good. So I'm like you. I'm a little bit worried that Sideshow's bodies aren't particularly strong. But it's a while since I've bought a Sideshow, so they might have improved. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I was going to touch on that. I heard same thing, that the bodies don't hold up, and it seems to be a particular set of figures from a certain line. And I think it was Star Wars where I heard a lot of people say they had an issue, but I could be wrong. And correct me if I'm wrong, but. So I don't know if they've improved since then. On the other hand, I have heard some positive things, specifically from the horror line, that those figures are great. They've held up. I don't have any Sideshow figures right now in my collection. David from the Lost Boys was the first one that I pre-ordered, actually. So that'll be the first one I get when that comes in.
And now, as well,
yeah. But like I mentioned, I'm a big fan of that movie, so I'm looking forward to that one. But yeah, it's interesting because, again, going back to the price, I just kind of did like a general search on Sideshow's website and just filtered out just to collect their figures or Sideshow collectibles, and looked at the prices, and they're all over the place, right? They kind of range, and I couldn't find any rhyme or reason why they chose certain prices for certain figures. I was trying to look for a pattern. I couldn't find any, and so I think it just is. I chalk it up to it's based on the license and the character specifically. But again, as far as overcharge or price higher than what they are, it kind of seems like Sideshow is the Super 7 of 6 scale. If you guys are familiar with Super 7, a lot of people that they're overcharged, right? They're like about $55 new, and that's the biggest thing that people complain about it, because they're good figures, but they don't have the best articulation, and I mean they kill it with the accessories, but yeah, there's just some things they could work on a little more. So, but they have a precedent set. Go ahead.
Sorry,
what was that?
I think in terms of it being Sideshow, and Peter, maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong, but where we would buy a Hot Toys figure or potential third party, chances are it's coming from a Hong Kong reseller. But with Sideshow, I don't know if that's possible with their own branded figures. I could be completely wrong there, but
I'm not sure. I know a pal of mine bought, I think, direct from Sideshow. I picked mine up from a well-known website.
It's renowned for slapping the customs on as well for the UK.
Yeah.
So buying UK side, and again, if anybody
That's a
out
good
there
point.
knows any
Yeah.
different, you're not only paying that for the figure, but you're paying a percentage of tax
Yeah.
on the value of the figure and the shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas you may get away with it with the Hot Toys, you wouldn't get away with it
Yeah.
from Sideshow.
Yeah, no, that's Thank you for bringing it up. That is a good point. It's something that obviously I have no experience with right here being in the States, but I'm glad you guys are here on the stream to kind of point that out, and your experiences and how it affects everyone else outside of the U.S. And so it's like, yeah, it would kind of seem like the roles are switched. I did see this on 1/6 kit, obviously for an
Oh, right,
upcharge,
okay.
and I think that upcharge is to account for the taxes or the import charges, I
Yeah.
should say. I think.
So that's where I've gotten mine from. So, and I think
Okay.
it came at a total of $349 was your price, but that was, like I say, all in, because like you say, I sometimes make the mistake of buying a figure and thinking, oh, I'm getting a good deal on that, and totally forget about the import charges, because that can sometimes be $60, $70 on top of your figure.
Yeah.
So I prefer going through 1/6 because it's kind of already covered, because I've never paid charges on his. Whereas when I buy stuff from Mondo, every single time I'm paying at least $60 on top of the price.
Yeah, and I've definitely heard that. And so, yeah, vice versa here in the States. If we get something, if the retailers here that are U.S. based, they get something imported, from outside of the U.S., there's usually a markup. If it's exclusive to other territories outside of the U.S. and they import it here in the States, there's usually a mark, like BBTS, for instance, when they get figures from Asia that are exclusive to Asia and they bring them in here, there's usually some sort of markup. But now it just seems like the rules are switched for you guys there in the UK, or just
Do you get
in Europe.
taxed differently depending on state as well?
Yes. Yep. Each
Okay.
state, and even within the state, different counties have their own
Yeah.
taxes as well, or cities. Yeah. So it changes. But yeah, that's a good point that you guys bring up on that. So yeah, something to consider. But going back to the Super 7 aspect, they set for Super 7 and Sideshow here kind of synonymous, 1/6, 1/12, just as far as price anyways, regarding price. They kind of set a precedent, right, where Super 7's been around for a while and we already know what their figures come out. So when they come out with a new figure, we already know what the price is going to be, right? It's like we know it's going to be overpriced basically in general. Sideshow, it kind of seems like it's the same thing. They have their own Sideshow collectibles. They've had these figures around for a while. We already know somewhat of a reputation that they cost more, right? They're higher price compared to other figures, similar figures. And so it's just kind of, again, Obi-Wan kind of be point of view type of thing, or I was expecting it to be higher. So when this came out at 280, I'm like, oh wow, that's actually not bad. But yes, to like what other people were saying, I can see the whole overpricing if you compare it to like Hot Toys, or obviously third party is going to be way overpriced if you compare it to a third party. But so yeah, I don't know. And then compared to what you were saying, Phil, about the limited, that's something I did also think about. I know not a lot of Sideshow figures, they're still available. You can get them. But one thing I noticed, and they have here on their website, Sideshow's website, on the corner, it says limited edition. I don't know if it says limited edition or limited. And so what I think the model that Sideshow follows is that it's limited in the sense where they put it up for pre-order and they keep it open, and then however many they sell up until it comes out, that's how many they sell. After that, once they stop production, then that's it. It doesn't come back. So it's limited in that sense, not limited in a specific quantity, or limited in it's more like a somewhat timed edition, I guess, but just like an indefinite time, right? Is that what you guys gather? Is that what you? Correct? Yeah. So for instance, I always go back to, I know I brought this up before, Peter, with you, but that Jack Burton from Big Trouble in Little China by Sideshow. That Sideshow hasn't released that, and now that's going for big bucks. And that's kind of one that I've been on the fence, but I didn't want to pay what secondary market was asking, so I think I'm good. But yeah, that's completely sold out. You can't get that unless you buy at secondary market. And granted, not all Sideshow figures are like that. Some of them, like I mentioned, are still available. But that's a gamble, right? If you want to wait and when it comes out, specifically if we're talking about this figure here, like I'll wait to see what it comes out. It'll still be available. I don't know. It's kind of hard to gauge. It could become more and more popular, and then people buy it up. And there's not any available left when it comes out, then you might be asked out on that one. Were you gonna say something, Peter?
I was going to say, I know I struggled, so I went down a Sideshow X-Men line a little while ago, so I picked up Cyclops and Wolverine, and Magneto was a nightmare to find. I spent a good few months kind of searching and trying to get a hold of get that figure. So I think you're right. I think once they're out, and that's it.
Yeah.
They don't remake.
Yeah, and so I say that for those of you who are on the fence, just to seriously consider, not to incite FOMO, because as much of us, we joke about that. It's just something that if you really want, you could wait, but again, it's a gamble. So just something to really think about and see if it's worth it to you, basically. In the end, if you're going to enjoy it, if there's something that you really want and you're really considering it, then just think about that, about the availability after the fact it comes out. So. Yeah. Anyone else got anything else on this?
I mean, I guess for me, just strange accessories. The nail file. I don't remember the nail file being a big thing in the movie. It's a while since I've seen it, mind. I'm surprised we didn't get a gravestone or something like that, or a shrunken head. The handbook's cool, but I don't know, the nail file just seems odd.
Yeah, right. I was trying to think of that too. And thank you for bringing that up, because in addition to that, I didn't realize he had that ring and all those watches like Johnny Depp from in the movie, because I was like, when did he have those? And I went back, and sure enough, you can kind of tell they're not really prominent in the movie, at least that I remember. I just went to go back and watch some clips, and sure enough, the ring was there. I can barely see some watches, but I was just like, wow, I didn't realize he had all those watches and that ring there. So it's interesting you said, but I agree. I think with others as well in the community, I feel like he could have came with more accessories, again, considering the price, but maybe some, I was suggesting in another stream, some bugs, I think he ate a cockroach at one point, a cockroach or a rat or a snake or something like that. So one thing I also was going to bring up too regarding price, I just wanted to remind people that Cobb Vanth came out, and a lot of people thought he was overpriced. Hot Toys Cobb Vanth, and he came in, I think it was like $300, but I went to go take a glance to see if he's still available, and there's a lot of places where he's already sold out. There's, I think, one or two places that still had him, but they were low stock or low availability. So even though people were saying he's overpriced, people ended up buying him. So maybe that could be attributed to low quantity, I don't know, but either way, people still bought him and he was out. So something to consider on that. Just wanted to bring that to your guys' attention. All right, so going on here real quick, just get back to the chat. S Beam in the house. S Beam, thank you for joining us. Beetlejuice equals instant PO. That's a good equation there. Yep, I agree with that one. That holds true. I definitely got that one. He's also saying, don't forget to hit that thumbs up /like /appreciate button. Thank you, S Beam, for shouting that out. P-Rock in the house. A lot of people are intrigued with this figure. Yeah, and that's another thing too, right? Is again, going back to certain figures of sideshows that are sold out, hard to get, others are readily available. There's a lot of hype and talk about this one. So, if you want to do a one-to-one correlation on that, on whether that's going to sell well, that should give you some clues. So, but not always guaranteed. So again, something else to consider on if you want this figure or not, because there's a lot of hype on this. I've seen a lot of people on social media saying, I pre-ordered this, I got this, I had to have this. So that's, have you guys seen that also on your
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So something else. AJ Agrusa says, I agree, I would have thought there would have been at least one or two more accessories. Same, man, same. I think that's the consensus there of the community. All right, gentlemen, going on here. Let's see. So we got Beetlegeist, the man himself, to exercise those demons. If you want to bring him to your house and exercise any demons that are in your house, he'll be here. One thing that I thought was funny that I didn't realize Sideshow did in all their figures, because I don't have any, but how they just kind of put them, randomly, just casually around the house. Here they have them on the nightstand next to the couch for the or the chair, the reading chair with an umbrella, and they're probably looking around. The Sideshow staff were like, okay, what do we have around here? Oh, here's a Sharpie. Would that work? Yeah, give me that. I'll throw that in there.
It's the Apple one that always gets me. The one.
Yeah. For size comparison. And it's the same apple they use for every figure. It was just fun. I just thought I'd just kind of throw them there on the nightstand, like people were doing that. I don't know if any of you out there do that. Let me know if you have a casual figure just on your side desk in your living room or family room. I'm intrigued now. That's funny. All right, so going on to the next figure here, we got the Yan Toys the Universe Emperor, not just the galactic. This is the universe emperor here. So yeah, I think we all know who this is supposed to be, which emperor this should be. But so this is about 140 to 180 ish, depending on where you get it from. I just kind of put up 180 here is the highest amount. Set to come out Q3 of this year. You got three head sculpts, 8 hands, the crutch, the saber here, the light sword or the laser sword, if you want to call it, some thunderbolts effects, and a stand. So this one is kind of interesting. I've already heard a lot of backlash on this, just of how bad it looks, and I was actually surprised because honestly, to me, I think this looks, if anything, good/decent. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna go in somebody's room and they have this on a shelf and be like, "Oh, is that the witch from Drag Me to Hell?" It's like I clearly know who it is. I can tell. So, for anybody out there who just wants a stand-in, not Palpatine figure, I mean, this is a good one. I think. I mean, all the facial features are there. Yeah, it may not be on par like 1-to-1, but it, especially with the hood on, how accurate do you want a figure to be if you're going to have the face covered most of the time? And I think that just goes in general, in my opinion, for figures with like helmets or some sort of covering on their face, right? So that's just what my thinking. But yeah, Peter, what are your thoughts on this one?
I like. Yeah, I think this is good. I think it's all right. I don't like the open mouth expression. I think one of the expressions is really good. I don't see. I'm not a fan of either of those ones really. The one where he's just kind of smirking a little bit. I think in the first image, that looks pretty cool. I think you're right. I mean, he's a pretty basic looking guy in the movies anyway. Do you know what I mean? He's just got a black cloak on. So if you're just wanting someone sat in the chair kind of thing, I wouldn't have him in any kind of dynamic poses or anything like that. I certainly wouldn't be using that light sword or whatever they want to call it. But just sitting looking menacing, this does the job, doesn't it? Rather than because the original costs a fortune, I think, doesn't it? The Hot Toys one's mad money. Mm-hmm. So this could fill a space, I think, if you were a Star Wars collector.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Phil, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I completely agree with Peter. I mean, for me, I think the face in certain photographs does look really plasticky. That could just be down to the lighting the photographers used, but I don't think it looks that bad either, if I'm being completely honest. If you want to stand in until hopefully there's a 2.0, then I think this is okay. I mean, it's screaming customization. You could get that probably sent off and somebody could do some work on that head sculpt. But the gown looks fine. Yeah, the screaming one is a bit wild, don't get me wrong. But no, for that price point, I didn't even know anything about it until you sent me that list. Really? I thought, oh wow, didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah,
so I could seriously be considering this. I mean, if nothing comes of the 40th,
right,
shortly or maybe towards the middle of the year, then I think.
I don't know what you guys are like, but I'd stay well clear of kind of the clip-on effects anyway. I never think they look good.
I never use them.
So I think, like you say, if you're going to have them just sat looking, you could pose that really well, couldn't you? So that end image there with his hands up, kind of side face, that looks really quite good, I think.
I agree.
Yeah, I think you could pose him and make him look good.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I was always thinking that too. I was like, man, that pose there on the right, again, with just like the hood covering his face and kind of in the shadows. Yeah, that will work for me. Even, I mean, if again, going what you were saying about Palpatine being mostly in movies like kind of in the shadows, dark cloaked. And I think I forgot which one it was. His hood is like almost covering the top of his head. Yeah. So if they just nailed the head sculpt from like the nose down, because that's what y'all are going to be showing, I would think this would be a good stand-in. But
I think I prefer this to the is it the Hot Toys Clone Wars?
Yeah.
Palpatine.
Yeah.
Actually, I prefer this to that.
I would agree with you. Although I did pre-order that one just because I thought that was the only other Palpatine I was going to get.
I was almost there. Yeah, I almost hit that button thinking.
So what I did though, what I was going to add is, so I bought that, which I still think looks good. I'm okay.
Oh
with
yeah,
that.
yeah. It does.
Yeah, still looks like a great figure. But then another third-party company, I forgot who it was, they made a kit where it's just a head sculpt of
Hmm.
Palpatine's head, and they included some everything but the body, basically. So I had like a robe, some hands, I think some other also lightning effect pieces. So it was everything but basically but the body. So if you want to do a kit bash, you could do that. And so I got that. Again, hindsight, not knowing that they were going to come out with something like this, to kind of swap out that Clone Wars one if I ever wanted to. So I have the options like, hey, I want Clone Wars at one point, and if I want to switch it up and do Return of the Jedi, I can do that, or OT trilogy. And so, yeah, but to kind of touch on what you mentioned, Phil, the possibility of a 2.0 or some other reiteration of Palpatine from Hot Toys, right? Because they did tease that dark side line,
Yeah.
right? When they did all those teases, in addition to like the Phantom Menace 25th anniversary.
And was it when they announced the 40th Vader? Wasn't there a shot of Palpatine?
I
Because
think
he's
so.
got that glowing head, sort of the helmet. That could have been
Oh,
the
does he?
original, but
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember. I'll just take your word for it. I'll see. Yeah, we'll go with that for now.
my memory's rubbish, so I could be completely wrong.
No, so is mine. I mean, it's like more
Fantasizing.
than, yeah, that's more than I remember. So no worries. Um, but yeah, I was thinking about that, right? So I think a good option would be to wait for me personally to see if what they come out with for that dark side line. And I just started thinking about it. I was like, man, even if they do other figures from other than Palpatine, that would still all be banger figures, right? Because then you would have speculation here, dark side. So I'm thinking dark side figures, Count Dooku, the Emperor, dark side Anakin. Let's see, those are the three top ones. I was going to say Maul, but he can be included in the 25th Phantom Menace line.
Yeah.
And so they would have like an extra one included in that dark side if they come out, with more than three. So I think I would get all of those if they announced all of those for the the dark side line.
And
So
the thing is, if this is not well received by the community, I mean, this could end up in bargain bin anyway. So even if there's not a
yeah,
2.0,
right.
2.0, sorry, by New Year next year, you could be looking $120 maybe for this if it's
Yeah,
hot selling.
yeah, definitely agree. And that's one thing that I'm always harping on, that I appreciate it as a collector. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but just options, right? Options as
Yeah.
collectors to have that, because if they didn't come out with this, then we would have to just either not deal, but our options would be the Clone Wars Palpatine or the 1.0, the original Palpatine from Hot Toys, right? So which is, as you guys mentioned, crazy money right now on the secondary
That's
market.
unattainable. I wouldn't pay that.
So we have this, we have that kit that I mentioned, that third-party kit that you can do a kit bash with, and we'll see what we come with the dark side line from Hot Toys. So it's all good stuff. So I think there's time for collectors to wait and see if they want, or if you're okay with the price tag on this and you just want, like we mentioned, a placeholder in the meantime. I personally think this is decent, and if any of you out there think the same, you're not alone on that. Don't let anybody try to make you feel bad because they're talking trash on this figure. So again, this is all personal preference. If you like it, you enjoy it, and it's for your collection, by all means do your thing. I'm not going to tell you otherwise. But all right, so real quick, go in the chat here. Action Figure Academy says he could use some cocoa butter though. yeah. I think even in the movies, Palpatine could use some cocoa butter on that. AJ Agru says, "Oh yeah, I forgot about the dark side line. Yeah, right. Something to anticipate there. Eagerly awaiting to see what they can. I know a lot of people are going to be eagerly awaiting that one. They could possibly do, a Savage press. The head would be close to Maul. He would just need a bigger body. Yeah, I was hoping they would potentially release or announce that. I should say announce it for the 20th. I think the 20th, not the Clone Wars line. I think they had whenever that anniversary was. I was hoping they would come out with that because, I agree. I love Savage Press. He's one of my favorite characters in that whole story. I just love Maul's storyline from the Clone Wars and Rebels. It's just so awesome, man. I think a Savage Press figure would be awesome. Do you guys have any thoughts on the dark side line and what they could come out with?
I heard someone mention the other day something about, I'm not sure if it was on your channel, Peter. Is it the Dark Droids?
Yeah, we're talking dark droids. Yeah, they would be cool.
Now they've got the 3PO, but obviously they've already got the R2 sculpts.
Yeah.
It's an easy win. Just paint them black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't that aware of the Dark Droids really until they've done a comic book series recently, which was very, very interesting, very cool. So yeah, they would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. So we'll see what comes of that. But yeah, so Yon Toys Universe Emperor, again, links in the description if you want to check it out. And again, those are just for references. The links I have there. Shop around, find what works for you. Obviously, if you're living in the States, outside of the States, you got to consider the usual taxes, fees, shipping charges. So yeah, just shop around, and hopefully you're able to land something that works for you.
I appreciate you sending me this, because this would have gone. I would have completely missed this. So
I'm glad. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad. That's one of the reasons why I do this, and most of us, do these streams, right, to let other collectors know and inform them, right? So it's awesome. I mean,
I have to just coming in on that kind of point. I'm kind of on the fringe, shall we say, of the 1/6 community. I interact with some of you guys and stuff like that, but I'm not in depth in it. And a lot of people seem to focus on the big guns, your in-arts and your hot toys and things like that. But I think there's some cracking third-party figures out there.
Yes.
There's some amazing. Yep. I mean, a lot of my collection is So Toys and ThreeZero, people like that. I don't think some of that gets talked about enough. There's some great figures out there. And like you're saying, shows like this kind of figure probably would have just gone past without many people even being aware of it being out there,
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. And I know, I hear the consensus. I know a lot of people don't like think this is a great figure, which is fine. Again, it's subjective, but others out there may think it does look good and it is decent. So, like Phil mentioned, he was just not aware. And I forgot to mention that in the intro, but so one of the things the figures I do talk about here are the non-popular ones for that reason that you mentioned, Peter, because they just stick to either Hot Toys, all the popular ones, and then 1/12. I don't really discuss any Black Series or Marvel Legends, like the bigger Hasbro lines, because there's just so many other figures that are just not being talked about. Yeah. And I think they need love too. So whether you like the figures or not, they should be made aware for other collectors though. So yeah, good point. Thank you for bringing that up. All right, so switching up here to previously on X-Men, we'll jump to the Mondo Rogue. So Peter, I know you're a big Mondo fan, specifically Motu, He-Man, Masters of the Universe.
Don't tempt us, man. So I collect the Mondo Masters of the Universe figures, and I know that this style of figure isn't for everybody because it does look like a big action figure. Do you know what I mean? When you compare it to your Hot Toys and things like that. Yeah. But I love my Masters of the Universe figures. They are absolutely stunning. In fact, excited, just got a notification to say Beastman's coming this week, so hyper for that. But I've kept away from the X-Men line. I've got the So Toys Rogue, which is very cool, but this is amazing. This not, I think this looks superb. I love the fact you get the alternate head with her as well, so you get the kind of the other animated version of our head sculpt. I love this.
Yeah,
but no, I can't go down another rabbit hole.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
I mean, look at that for an accessory. Do you know what I mean? A crushed gun is just superb.
Back there.
Look at that. It's just I think Mondo really does kill it with the add-ons and the bits you get and all the rest of it. Sometimes I don't know what your He-Mans are, but sometimes the paints applications scuff very easily. I don't know if that's the same with the X-Men ones, but certainly the Masters ones do. But yeah, I love this. I loved the Sabertooth. Yeah, this is a line I could go down and get a lot of figures, I think.
Yeah, I know, right? Look at that, man. Phil, what are your thoughts on this one? Are you collecting Mondo at all? Any Mondo figures?
I don't, but I've seen Peter's He-Man, Battle Cat, absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
I just can't. If I start getting into that, in any of them, it's the same as because He-Man is from the original from my childhood. I'd love to get those He-Man figures, and Beastman, man, probably one of my favorites. Phenomenal. And look at that lineup there. That's incredible. That is. And now I'm going to completely go against the grain of what I just said, because I've ordered that Haoyu Wolverine. Is it the Haoyu Studios?
Yep.
Oh man, it's amazing. But no, I'm afraid if I'd love just to get one figure, but I know that's not going to happen. If I get one, then it's going to be I've got to get Wolverine to go with this, or I've got to get and I can't. But it's amazing. I
Yeah.
like the sort of comic book representation. I Yes, it may look too toy-like, but having those in 1/6, I think they're fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with both of you on that. And I, on the other hand, though, I kind of have jumped into this Mondo X-Men line to some degree. I only got the Omega Red just because that one. The other ones I passed on because I also collect Marvel Legends, and I think I have my fix on Marvel Legends comic characters. That's the main reason why I collect Marvel Legends, because they're the comic representations of the
Yeah.
characters that I love, mostly the X-Men, and not a lot of other companies have done that before, and we're starting to see some now. You mentioned Hono failed, and obviously Mondo's jumping into it, so they're getting there on the animated front. But before that, in the comic iteration was just all 1/12 scale, so that's where I got my fix from those. So on this real quick here, so there's a deluxe and a standard edition. What we're seeing here is a standard edition. The deluxe went out just like that, like within. I set myself up for failure because I was thinking about getting it, and I usually set an alarm when I see times like, hey, this figure's going to go up at this time on this day. I'll set like a calendar invite or event, or I set an alarm so I'm aware. But I blew it. And then I forgot, and so I went back thinking that I have an opportunity to buy it, and it was like 40 minutes afterwards, and then it was already sold out. And
I
so
used
was
to
like,
do
wow.
exactly the same with the Black Series waves.
Yeah,
Exactly the same alarm set as soon as
Yeah.
pre-order.
yeah, yeah. You're just like waiting there, like you're camping out on
Yeah.
like a Black Friday or something. You're just waiting. Oh, come on. Camping out online. So the deluxe was limited to 1,000, which I was kind of surprised to see. A lot of people they kind of threw them off, which I understand, because Mondo has in the past done timed editions, and I think I know some of their Masters of the Universe figures were timed editions, right, Peter? Because you got some. I got the Trap Jaw. Is it Trap Jaw?
It's amazing, the Trap Jaw.
Yeah, that was timed, and so they've done that in the past, but they've also done quantity. Limited quantity editions, right, where they only have a certain amount, because again the Omega Red was limited to 1,000, and for some reason that wasn't as popular. So I think the biggest draw was the fact that Rogue gained in popularity recently. I think we all know why, probably because like there's cake to go around for everybody, so that kind of hyped it up. But the Omega Red, it was available for I think at least a couple of days, because I pre-ordered it and I would check back and it would still be available. Also limited to 1,000, and that's the deluxe version. But this, within an hour. So I think it was just mostly, in addition to being limited to 1,000, just the popularity of this character grew recently. You see all the memes and everything on social media, so I think that's what hyped it up. And so but they did also give social media on their posts on their Twitter and Instagram. They did mention that, hey, ahead of time, this is going to be limited to 1,000, on this day. So they did give people, I think, a fair notice. As much of an advance, I don't know. I can't remember when the first time they sent that information out, but it was out there. I think people just got used to them doing timed editions, and they just, unfortunately, some people weren't able to get it. And what are your guys' thoughts on that whole like limited, this figure or some of Mondo figures being limited in quantity?
So, I mean, the He-Man ones are quite often timed.
Yeah.
And I've been stung a few times, but I can't help myself, so I keep going back and repeating the same thing. What they tend to do is, for example, I'll use the He-Man as an example. You get timed limited edition. Oh God, you've got to buy it within the first 24 hours or whatever. Yeah. And it comes with an obscene amount of accessories, different chest plates, different armors, thunder punch, all that kind of stuff. And I kind of rush in because I want the figure. And I don't know what you guys are like with your hot toys and things like that, but I'd say a good 90% of the stuff that it comes with sits in a box. I never use it. Yeah. So they do this timed edition for 24, 48 hours. You rush and buy it because it's never going to be seen again. And then 6 months down the line, they announce that they're going to release it just as the figure with the main accessories. That frustrates us a little bit, because I think, well, actually, I didn't really want all the other add-ons and stuff. Yeah. But it's that kind of manufactured scarceness, that you've definitely got to jump on straight away. That said, Yeah, exactly. That said, what I would say is with the majority of the He-Mans, I don't know if it's the same for the X-Men, but they certainly seem to maintain the value. So if you go on eBay, they're not going down in price. So I don't think you lose anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, definitely, and yeah, thank you for bringing that up. That's something I was going to touch on also. Is the so I mentioned this right here. The Rogue we're looking at is the standard. The deluxe came with 2 additional head sculpts and a Sentinel base. And so, yeah, like Peter was mentioning, Mondo usually has a deluxe version with all the fixins, right? All the toppings. You have all these awesome accessories, like we mentioned before. But then later on, they would come out with a standard edition, which has not as many accessories. They cut back on those fixins, cut back on those toppings. And so this at this point here, they kind of released them both at the same time. I can't remember if they did that already previously, where they released both the deluxe and the standard. I think they did that with the Mega Red. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. So now they give the collectors, an option ahead of time, like, hey, do you want the deluxe or do you want the standard? And you wouldn't really, I don't think they advertised that prior, as far as, like you mentioned, Peter, when they would come out with the deluxe time edition, and then later on they came out with the standard. I don't recall them advertising that at all. Like, hey, if you don't get this, you can wait and we'll come out with the standard. So I think they could have been better on that, which I think now is what they're doing. And that's why they released both of these at the same time. Because I'm guessing collectors maybe spoke up about that. I'm like, hey, what the hell? And so now collectors have the option, like you were saying. If they don't want the deluxe with all those extra accessories, they can just get the standard. So the standard is still available. For any of you interested, the deluxe is sold out. One thing when I went on their website, Mondo's website, I noticed they have free shipping to the US, Canada, UK, and in Europe, which was interesting. I don't know if I caught that before. I probably did. I just didn't pay attention. So if you buy direct from Mondo, there's free shipping. This figure stands at 11 3/4 inches, so just under 30 centimeters, and due out June of this year. So let's see here. We saw some of the accessories already. So there's a neutral portrait, the ankle. I'll call it head sculpt. Neutral head sculpt, angry head sculpt. We got the blaster. And another thing I wanted to touch on, that someone brought up in the chats of another stream that I didn't notice at first, was the cup over her glove doesn't seem to be removable. So you see here, right, it's on her, makes sense, right? It's connected to her hand or her arm. But if you go to the photos without her glove, you can see the cup is still there. Right here. So there's one there, and there's another one where you can see that effect. So if that bothers anyone, it's just something to consider as far as accuracy. Let me keep going. There it is, right there. Yeah, you can see the cup of her glove is still there. So not a deal breaker for me. I haven't pre-ordered this. I don't know. It does look good. I agree that it just looks like a good figure. I love X-Men. X-Men is my childhood. That's what introduced me to Marvel in general. Like probably similar to you guys in the 90s, the animated series. And so, yeah, I think this is just a beautiful figure. It just looks good overall. I know some people are turned off by the joints, but again, that's just Mondo style. That's just how they've been doing it.
Yeah, that wouldn't bother me at all.
Yeah. So, I do have the Mega Red, and it's funny. I saw this picture. I'm like, oh, what are they trying to do? What are they trying to do to us? I was like, that could be a good pose right there. I don't know. So I'm still on the fence. The standard is available, and we'll see how that goes. I don't know. Anyone have any additional thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I've got the so I think it's called Anna Marie rather than Rogue.
Yes, yeah.
Which is a nice figure, but I mean, I do like this, but I can't go down another line. I'd love a nice Archangel figure. That's my favorite version of Warren. I'd love an Archangel figure in that style. Probably, I'd pick that up. But yeah, very cool.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And I can see the deluxe coming with multiple head sculpts in that one as well. As far as accessories, I don't know, maybe like the loose wings, his metal wings that he would shoot out, his darts. Maybe come with something like that or some effect. But yeah, that's I was going to touch on that also. The Anna Marie, the So-So one, I have that one as well because at the time I thought that was the only Rogue in that scale, and they kind of took some liberties. I know a lot of people didn't like it. They called her wine mom or soccer mom or but I mean, it's not a direct representation from the comics, right? So took liberties, just kind of like did with like their Gambit and what they're going to do with their Cyclops and Magneto. They took own liberties on what they think these characters would look like in live action, and they don't have anything else to go off of, so they're just kind of okay, what do we want to make these figures look like? Whereas for comparison's sake, Hot Toys Clone Wars, right? They were able to use the likenesses from the live action counterparts. So, Rosario Dawson, Ewan McGregor, and Hayden Christensen to bring them, to live action, and it worked well, and they had that. But so didn't have that luxury to do that, so they kind of were like, all right, well, we'll give it a go. So I know a lot of people, going back to Hono, which you mentioned, Phil, people were thinking, hey, we can just wait for the Rogue to see if they come out with the Rogue on that one. So again, playing the waiting game to see what they come out with. So that's a possibility. I would say, though, with the popularity of this figure, and again, how quickly she sold out, that should be an indicator, hint, hint, third parties, other companies out there. If you want to make an animated, or at least close to comic book style Rogue, there's some money on the table there. I think it seems like people would be interested, but I'm no businessman. I don't run my own toy figure company, but it seems like there's a lot of talks there to jump on that hype train and make some money off of that. But I don't know. That's just me. So maybe we might see some other third parties come out with other representations of Rogue that are more either animated series or comic book accurate. I don't know. What do you guys think on that one?
I think there seemed to be a little bit of a kind of an X-Men war brewing a couple of months back, where all of a sudden everybody was making their own versions of Magneto, because we've got that brilliant Magneto on the Sentinel hand. Can't remember which company that was, but then I think it was So announced that they were doing a load of other figures, lots of X-Men animated lines. I'm all for it. Give us as many options as you want. I love my X-Men figures, 1/6 scale figures, so I'll be picking up a fair few of them, I'm fairly sure.
Gotcha. Yep. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how those So Magneto and that Cyclops.
Yeah.
Or no, that's Present Toys. Sorry, I think
that's right. Toys. It was Present Toys, wasn't it? And So. So I think Present Toys kind of announced we're doing Magneto and Cyclops, and then within days, So put out like one of their silhouette pictures of all these different X-Men figures, and I think there were some interesting ones on there as well. I think was Prof X on there. I can't remember.
I think so. And who was it? Sentry? Is that X-Men?
That was bizarre. So they had all the X-Men characters and they had the Sentry, and he's no to do with the X-Men. So I don't know what that was all about.
So it's like, oh yeah, we'll show you guys. So I'm curious to see how those what comes of those the future third-party lines there, other figures representations here. So going back to the chat real quick, Commander Green in the house. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for joining us. The Action Figure Academy is saying, thou must spendeth thine hard-earned cash. May your wallets be heavy with notes and thou cometh forward. Yeah. Well said, Action Figure Academy. Well said. Tremble Dust in the house. Hey, people, what is going on? Tremble. Thank you for joining us on this fine Saturday. Well, at least here on the West Coast here, the weather is okay. I think, Bill, you mentioned it's not so great over there where you're at.
No, it's very damp at the moment.
Yeah. Same for you, Peter?
Yeah. I'm up the north, so we're just permanently frozen.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, hopefully it clears up for you both soon, for everyone there in the UK and Europe. Let's see here. Tremble Dust Rogue looks good, but I may pass. Too attached to soft goods. Yeah, that's another thing, right? A lot of people don't like the plastic accessories that come with Mondo includes with their figures. Let's see here. Tremble's also saying, if I bought her, I'd have to give the whole line. That would require a new display. I don't have room for that. Yep, that's the biggest enemy of collectors, right? Space, not the final frontier. Let's see here.
You can always find the cash. We can't always find the space.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't always find the space. It's a rare resource there. If I didn't have the So one, I would probably have gone after this one. Yeah, it's tough. Now, for those that don't have the So one, though, they have options now. Again, going back to options like we were saying. Collector Joey in the house. Yo, thank you for joining us, good sir. Collector Joey. See, Tremble is saying in sunny but brisk over there in the NY, aka New York. All right. Thank you all for joining us and coming in and keeping the chat active. We appreciate you joining us here. Going on to the next figure, I don't think we'll spend too much time on this because I know this is kind of one of those odd ones, but still, I just think it looks beautiful. And this is I'm going to say H Toys because I don't know how to pronounce that. You know, when you have a teacher in school, you don't know how to say their last name. You just say like Mrs. S or Mrs. J. You call them like Mrs. So H Toys Southern Growth King. And I think this figure is based on mythology, some sort of Asian mythology. I'm not sure which ones. Again, correct me in the chat or in the comments on where specifically this is from. But I know that it says, I want to say it's Chinese. I thought I saw this on BBTS that said Chinese myth or mythic or something along those lines. But this is, so yeah, 300 bones, due out April of this year. As you can see, there has alternate heads, 6 pairs of interchangeable hands. You got the helmet, the full set of armor. Let's see, a steel sword, it says in the description. So steel, I'm guessing that's actually die cast there. A magic sword and a platform. So this company at first, I didn't recognize the name, but when I did some googling and Google Foo and searched around, I saw that they also did Troy, the Brad Pitt, Achilles from Troy, the Brad Pitt version, and the Conan that came out recently that a lot of people saw on the pre-order and were like, ugh, what is that? But then when it came out, they're like, oh wow, it's actually better in hand. And so this company, did that Conan that came out recently, and most likely the reason why it's so expensive is because they use premium materials, premium quality materials here. So I'm thinking, yeah, like I mentioned, the steel sword, so that's probably going to be die cast along with some other things here. You got this awesome base, very ornate armor, again intricate. I went over some figures last week that had the same in 12 scale, but I always appreciate when companies do this, right? They take the time. For me, I'm all about the details, because that just takes extra effort in any form of artwork, music, video games, art, figures, just because not a lot of people notice it, and or I should say, goes unnoticed, right? And then I feel bad for the artist or whoever put that in there, because they took extra time out of their lives, either one, because they felt it was necessary, or they had a passion to do that. And so anytime I see a figure like this, like the sash here with all these details on it, on the design, they didn't have to do that. They could have just made a green sash, right? But it just looks awesome overall. And so I appreciate whenever somebody adds that extra detail in a figure like that. Phil, what are your thoughts on this one?
I love all these sort of mythical representations. I think they're fantastic. I watched, Trevor 1/6 Shooter?
Oh yeah, yeah, yep.
So the Mythic Legions.
Yeah,
I think they're fantastic. I mean, I know they're a smaller scale, but anything like this, I'm intrigued by. I would never pay. I mean, if I say I'd never pay $300 for one of these, because I have no interest in the sort of figure, but
yeah,
I'd be lying to myself, because if there was something I really liked, I would.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to make it part of your collection. As you say, you can put it in your office, or whether next to your bedside. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's, as you say, it's almost as if they have to spend more time on. I mean, look at some of the designs in there, the chest plates, even the face sculpt is pretty good. And they're not trying to. It's not representing anybody, so there's no likeness. There's no need for a likeness. So I think they're great.
Right.
Figures. Really,
yeah.
really great.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. Yeah, look at like you were saying, the chest plate here. Look at the details here on the impressions and the sculpts, and the beard, and all the curly hair. They could have just did straight, like straight hairs on the beard. And but even the crown, man, yeah. I'm right there with you.
It's quite samurai. I'm assuming it looks quite samurai, doesn't it? So
yeah, it kind of does. Yeah.
I've just started playing. Is it Ghosts? I'm probably going to completely balls this up. But is it Ghost of Tsushima?
Yeah.
I've just started playing that, and beautiful.
Ooh, nice. I still need to play that.
Now I'm looking at this and thinking, whoa.
Yeah, I still need to play that. Are you enjoying that so far?
Do you know? I've got a PS5. I bought the PS4 version, played it for about 10 minutes, and after riding around on a horse, not really knowing what I was doing, I gave up. And then I had some annual leave week before last, so I thought, give it another blast. And yeah, can't put it down now. Fantastic.
Nice. Okay. All right. Looking forward to playing that one when I can. Peter, what do you have the same thoughts on mythic figures, or like figures from mythology, or what are your thoughts on this one?
So I'm very rudely, I'm afraid, jumped on my phone there when you were talking to have a look, because I went down a rabbit hole, maybe it's last year or the year before, where I found, I think I had 1 6-scale figures or something, because my search on eBay. And there was 2 figures that came up that were kind of mythology based. I love mythology, so mythology based. And I'm a sucker for die cast. So they came with die cast weapons, die cast armor, and all that kind of stuff. And a couple of my pals pulled us to bits for it because they said, oh, they're rubbish and all the rest of it. But I loved them. I got them for a steal. It was a twin pack. So I've just had a look at it. It was Coup model, C00 model, and it was Ares and Hercules.
Okay.
But all of the weapons were die cast. All of the armor plating was die cast. So the weight a ton, you know. The Hercules was actually loosely, I think, based on the Dwayne Johnson Hercules movie. It had that look to it, you know. But I love them.
Yeah.
The great, for me, the great figures. They've got a bit of weight to them, and this just looks like it would fit right in there with them, you know.
Yeah.
I think you're right. 300 seems an awful lot. I paid, I think, 200 for the twin pack of the ones I got. So I don't think I'll go that expensive with them, but I could certainly see this kind of thing fitting in with that line that I've got.
Yeah, and kind of going back to the price, I think, again, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone out there, that I don't have that Conan figure, but I thought it was all leather, not all leather, but the parts that would be leather were leather, and there was also die cast weapons, and so I think that's where the price factors in.
Yeah, attention to detail there.
Right. Yeah. And so in that sense, I can see the price being as high as it is with the premium materials. But yeah, I agree with both of you. I mean, it sounds like that's one of the things we all have in common is like we all also enjoy and like mythic or figures based on mythology, because I definitely covered a few of those in some of my past figure lowdown streams. I covered those female, was like the Roman warrior figures. One's supposed to be based on like an Ares warrior, and then one, I forgot what the other one was. I covered Medusa. There was a Medusa figure by I don't want to say third party because it wasn't based on anything particular, but yeah, there was like a Medusa type figure that was just awesome looking. And one of the movies growing up that I loved was Clash of the Titans. So the 70s one is like 80s, I think 80s or 70s, the Harryhausen one. So yeah, I got one of those. There was 2 versions. Yeah, so just a lot of mythology figures that I also appreciate and I love. So some of those have made their way into my collection. So this one though, I don't, as cool as it looks, there's nothing really that would be like, okay, I need to add this to my collection. I don't know. There's nothing really calling to me, but I do appreciate again the artistry and the details in this. But I do have some other mythological figures that or male figures that I might add in my collection here. So yeah, this is just cool though. It just looks cool. I like the 2 head sculpts there and the 2 hands, the green, like he goes to warrior mode or something. Yeah, so it's really cool. All right, so before we go on to this next one here, let me jump on the chat. We got Ben Thomas in the house, Sir Ben, the other classy Thomas. Classy Thomas. Ben Thomas, thank you for joining us, buddy. Appreciate you. Okay, there's only one classy Thomas, I guess. I think we both agree on that. Let's see here. Sorry if I missed some of you here coming through. Let's see. I think I'm seeing, where is he at? I think it looks like Local Lou. I think Local Lou's in the house, but I don't see his chat. So if I miss it, apologies, Local Lou. If you're out there, appreciate you coming through. Oh no, they're saying the figure looks like Local Lou. Gotcha. It's Local Lou the first. Yeah, his ancestor. Yeah, that's funny. I saw people talking about Local Lou. I was like, oh, where's he at? But shout out to Local Lou anyways. Yeah, that's funny. All right, so yeah, going on to this next one. So I don't think either of you are into anime or specifically Naruto. So if you're not, it's all right. Kick your feet up. You can just listen to me rant about this. And then if you want to throw in any thoughts on this afterwards, feel free. But no hard feelings if you want to pass on this one. So yeah, as you guys know, I'm a big fan. I enjoy anime in addition to all the other things that I include in my hobbies and movies, right? I love anime, horror, and the usual action fantasy. But with anime, Naruto and Dragon Ball are my 2 top animes there that I'm big fans of. So this, as you know, I covered a lot of these Rocket Toys figures in the past. I've been kind of following them, and I know a lot of you out there also have been doing the same and excited for this. So this is Tsunade, again, from Rocket Toys, and I covered a teaser photo of this last week, but this just went up for pre-order recently, and it was only a matter of time, right? So there was this one. So Tsunade from Naruto Shippuden is the series on this one. So this is standing at 11.4 inches, so just under 30 centimeters. Set to be released Q4 of this year. As you can see, there's 248. So here she has, let me take us off real quick so you can see it has multiple face plates there and an interchangeable hairpiece. She has a bunch of hands and something that was really cool that I don't think the other figures came with the other Rocket Toys figures is swappable arms, seamless arms. And I know some other 1/6 scale figures have included that before, but here she includes those in addition to the jointed, which I know some of us in the community have mentioned, right, as suggested for certain figures, because it wouldn't make sense for this figure to have, if she only came with just this one set of arms and she's wearing this coat, it wouldn't make sense for her to come with seamless arms, right, because they're going to be covered. And so a lot of us were like, well, you know, what if we want to take that off? The option to have both jointed and seamless would be good to have. And so that's good that this Rocket Toys included those there. Another thing that I don't know if a lot of people like or not yet, I haven't heard I haven't got the word on that, is the eyes. They come with interchangeable eyes, but they're individual eyes, right? So they come out and you kind of got to swap them out one by one, and it does come with like a little stick, an eye poker, if you will, to put those in and move them around. I think most if not all the other Rocket Toys figures had those as well. She got the sake bottle, because if you know her character, she's a drinker. She's also a gambler, hence the cards. She has her little pig friend there, and a base, and her hat, right? Her Hokage hat. For those that don't know, she's the leader of a village, and that's what they call them, Hokages there. So yeah, I personally think this figure is just straight out of the anime. At first, I wasn't sure because her character doesn't do too much, right? She's just really strong, and she has healing abilities. You know, Naruto's based on ninjas. The whole theme is just ninjas and skills of ninjas, and her abilities are just healing and super strength. And so I couldn't really see what she's going to come with, and I wasn't sure. But having seen her now, this figure just looks really good. Just again, it pops, the colors, the contrasting colors, the green and the yellow of her hair, how dynamic the flow of her hair is, and it's just, yeah, it looks awesome. Wired, is for some of you that may not know, or for those of you that may not know, Rocket Toys, whenever they include clothing, for the most part, they have wires in them so you can pose them. And these are licensed, so these are premium licensed. Rocket Toys is trying to do Naruto figures justice, and so they also usually include die casts, armor and weapons for those that include them. Here she doesn't have any of that because it's just her character, but the others that have come out, they have had die cast parts and weapons and wires included, where needed, and different face sculpts, head sculpts, face plates, I should say. So yeah, they invest money in this line, and I think they're killing it so far. I don't know if I'll get all of them, but some of them I may pick and choose. This one just looks like a beautiful figure overall. So I may this one actually I did end up picking up. So I was just having like a female representation from this line, from that Naruto line, that anime. And even if you're not a fan of the anime, I think just in general, this looks like a great figure. I don't know. Peter, do you have any potential thoughts on this one?
Pig in a sweater, I'm all in. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, pig in a sweater.
No. This is. No. I'm afraid anime is not something I've managed to get into. Although I did enjoy the One Piece Netflix show. Quite enjoyed that. Yeah. Yep. But no, this is not something that I would pick up. It looks cool, mate. It looks very good, but just not for me.
Yep, understood. No, that's totally fair. I know there's a lot of people who just didn't get that anime bug bite and get that itch for them, but it's definitely understandable. Phil, what about you? Are you into anime at all? I don't know if I just got.
I was going to ask a quick question in terms of how accessible was it through comics or animation growing up? Because it's strange how the impression I get is quite popular across the pond with you guys.
Yeah.
But the only sort of I could be speaking for myself here, but in terms of animation, it would be like Tekken or Street Fighter.
Yeah.
That was sort of the only exposure to that sort of artwork I ever had growing up.
Yeah.
I'm just intrigued as to what makes it so popular in the States. Is it simply down to comic books, or is it a culmination of different mixed media?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. So for me personally, I think for most of us here in our generation, our age range, I think the earliest exposure to animation that we had from our anime type animation was Thundercats and Voltron, right? Because Voltron, I believe, started in Asia and then it made its way to the States, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so again, I grew up on both of those cartoons, Silverhawks. And that was, although I didn't realize at the time that was kind of anime influenced. But yeah, and as I got older, then I got exposed. I think the next main thing was Dragon Ball, right? And so that
Yeah.
started as so basically comics, but in Japan they call them manga or manga, and they're just basically their version of comic books. And yeah, you're right. When I was growing up, it wasn't popular. I think you kind of got flack for liking anime. A lot of people kind of kept that to themselves if they did like it.
Yeah.
And it just because the generations started, we all started getting we started growing up and being more open with our hobbies and interests, and the geeky or nerdy pop culture was infiltrated pop culture, right? And so it became more popular, and now you hear more people opening up and talking about it, and that's made it more popular, right? So now it's like a cycle, because now you have celebrities, musicians, athletes, they all mention anime in some form or another. I know a lot of people where they talk about Naruto in particular. I know some people have. So in the anime, there's each ninja village or clan has their own headbands, right? And they sell those. They actually sell those. You can buy those just like a replica. And I noticed some athletes wear those. Some UFC fighters kind of imitate. They put on a show based on that. Let's see. I know Ronda Rousey, for instance. She's mentioned she watches Dragon Ball. So a lot of people are just kind of starting to become open and talking about it, and it's just gaining more popularity. And now I think that people are saying, okay, hey, these people are talking about it, so it must be okay now. So they're coming out more, and they're just, these companies are now just kind of banking off that, right? So it's just, again, nostalgia and picking up on the popularity. So yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah. It's just you notice a lot of streamers will talk about anime, and when One Piece came out, and then they were comparing it to the animated series, and so I hear a lot of streamers, particularly, as I say, over with you guys in America, talking about it.
Yeah,
I think certainly, if you look at the convention scene in the UK as well, and you go to like a Comic Con or a festival or whatever, there's certainly more anime, I think, now in terms of cosplayer stalls and things than there are general comic book stalls. So I think it has started to take over in the UK as well. I think, I'm going to be really rude here, but dare I say it's a different age bracket. I think the younger people are much more into it. So my son made us go and see a anime movie last year, Train to something, I don't know what it was. Anyway, I just couldn't understand what the hell was happening. Just lots of people shouting at the swords and things, and but it's not for me, but it's certainly very popular, I think.
Yeah. And then part of I think the draw, just like with anything, why people initially get into it is the characters, right? The characters and the storylines, and that just appeals to a lot of people. And again, for me, this for Naruto specifically, it's ninja based, right? They're all ninjas. They all have different elemental skills. So you have a certain clan that focuses on water, then fire, and it's just like the fight scenes are cool in the anime. I've never actually read the comics or the manga myself, but I was just more into the animation and the cartoons, the series.
I quite like the crossover. I mean, I've just started watching Avatar. Is it The Last Airbender?
Oh yeah,
I'm quite enjoying that. So the crossovers, I think, could be more my cup of tea. So I may give One Piece a shot.
Yeah,
quite a good reviews about One Piece.
No, I saw that one, and I agree with Peter. That was did you say you liked it, Peter?
Yeah, I really enjoy it. You know what? I've got there's a friend of mine who's much younger than me who is banging at anime, and we agreed to watch that and then do a kind of a review of the first episode on his channel, and I just fell in love with it. It was it's silly at points, but it's meant to be. But actually, the drama in it, the action in it was just really, really enjoyable. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, same. I didn't watch that anime because it's just so long. I think it's one of the longest running animes. Yeah. I don't know if it's still going on, but it has so many episodes. So, if you're about to jump in that, good luck. But so I haven't seen any of those. I went to it fresh, and yeah, I agree. The One Piece live action, I was just totally impressed. I kind of went in with an open mind, but not high expectations, and I was really impressed. Took me for a surprise, and some of the things that they did, they went places that I didn't think, and so some dark places, like, oh wow, it was really good. So I recommend it. Even if you're not an anime fan, you just go in without the anime knowledge. It's still a standalone great show, I think. And I think the consensus on that one is that's a successful transition from anime to live action. There,
Yeah.
they did it good, and I think that's the only one. I know I talked about it on my previous stream, but I can't think of another successful transition from anime to live action that they've done, at least here in the States, anyways. They've all kind of bombed or failed. So, and I just heard recently that they're doing actually a Naruto live action. They're in the works to do that. So, hopefully, if that streak keeps going and that one turns out well, also, then the popularity will just keep growing. So, because then you'll have people come in and like, oh wow, what is this? What is this based on? And they find out it's based on the anime. Then they'll go back and watch the anime and maybe even the book. So, yeah, I think it's just only going to gain in popularity overall. All right, so let me go. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I said good stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah, no worries. So yeah, long running anime, says Tremble Dust Naruto. Yeah, I'm still watching it because there's I think 500 episodes, and I kind of skip around because some of them are, the common complaint is that with animes that there's some fillers in there, right? You'll have some action sequences and some awesome story arcs, but then they'll abrupt stop, and they'll throw in some fillers that just kind of that break the story and the momentum. So yeah, it's just a lot of that in both Dragon Ball and Naruto that I know of. Let's see, AJ Grus is saying, yeah, I got a lot of questions as to why I was wearing stuff with cartoons on it when I was in 7th grade. Yep. Yeah, you kind of have that kind of like, I felt somewhat like, I don't know if I want to wear this out in public, so I kind of hesitated. And you're impressionable when you're younger, right? You kind of try not to be, but that kind of stuff affects you. So yeah, I definitely feel you on that one, AJ. He's also saying Toonami on Cartoon Network really helped it explode in the US in the late 90s. Yeah, I think that's where I started watching Dragon Ball was Toonami. Yeah, Toonami Cartoon Network with the 3D robotic guy, the CG robotic guy. Yeah, that was cool, man. That was good stuff.
Oh, Pokemon exploded as well, didn't it? Everyone went for that.
Yeah, no, that's another good one there. Pokemon, yeah, that's huge. Yep. All right, so I think I'm caught up there in the chat. Thank you all again for those. So going on, sorry guys, we're still sticking with Naruto here. One more that came out. Let me see, make sure I got everything here. Yeah, okay. So Tsunade again. Oh yeah, so this is the third faceplate she comes with. This is again just, if you know the anime, you know why she has these marks on her face. She just goes an extra level of strength basically. But yeah, I just think it's really cool. This looks like this is a beautiful figure. And I think one I'm going to add to my other Naruto figures that I'm getting. All right, so next one up, sticking with Rocket Toys Naruto. This is Sasori. So for those, just a general overview, this is character. His thing is puppets. He's also a ninja, but he's like, his skills are using puppets and manipulating them. He's mastered that whole ability. Some pictures I'm going to show could be a spoiler, so just FYI, I'm going to say it now. It's a spoiler. You end up finding out that he's a puppet himself later on. You think he's a boy, but then you find out he's the actual puppet. And I say that because there's going to be pictures that are going to make that obvious. So here in the photos. And so, yeah, this one's higher in price, $353, most likely because he comes with a somewhat additional figure, I guess like a half a figure. But again, Rocket Toys doing their premium quality thing, right? You have some metal options here. Let's see here. Source of metal accessories. Let's see here. A bunch of blades that he has. And if I'm reading it right, I think those are actually metal as well. So just be careful on those. Let's see I don't know how they're going to do that. But yeah, a bunch of wires.
Licensed as well, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah, they're licensed. But one thing I couldn't confirm, and again, those in the chat or in the comments watching the replay, let me know. I think they're only licensed, though, in Asia, I believe, or somewhere, on the east from the US anyways, because they are licensed, but there's not really a lot of US retailers that have them. BBTS is the only one that I know, and even then, like we were talking about earlier with a markup due to import fees and stuff, they're selling those higher compared to this MSRP price here. So I think they are licensed, but only in Asia or somewhere outside of the US. But yeah, so it's a good question. Something I haven't confirmed yet. So yeah, going through here, I guess we'll kind of just touch on this one real quick. Peter, any similar thoughts? I'm guessing nothing.
Yeah, I am a sucker for a figure with kind of snap-on effects and things like that. I like to feel I'm getting value for money, and this looks more value for money than some of the other figures we've looked at. You get a lot with it, don't you? It's pretty. I like I say, it's not for me, but it's a pretty cool looking figure. I like the design of it and everything.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. I'm right there with you. What about you, Phil? You feel the same way? Is it again something that
Yeah,
you're gonna?
same for me. I mean, I'd never heard of these until you sort of sent the information across. But they're still intriguing figures, though. They're really good. I
Yeah,
mean, if if this is your thing, then
Yeah.
you're gonna love these.
yeah. I think
I think
Rocket
they're
Toys
really
so
good,
far
really good.
they put out awesome figures. Again, just these figures here. And before this, they were unknown, at least to me, anyways. I haven't heard of Rocket Toys, but ever since they started putting out these figures, they've been great. I have, let's see, I think only one so far now that I think about it. But even that one is just awesome. I have a couple already on pre-order, including that female we just discussed, Tsunade. But yeah, as you can see here, just like again going over these options, he has these blades that attach to his back. This torso section here, he has two, if I'm reading it right, two swappable torsos. This is the one where the rope is retracted, and then one where you can take it out here on the left, right? You can remove it, and there is a bendable wire in there. Again, Rocket Toys including the bendable wires in there. He comes with 3 different face plates. The one on the left, he has like the surprise look. The one on the right is kind of like the stoic look. He has these flame effects that attach to these unique hands that are specifically for that. And
That's the
each
thing.
of
You
the
seem to get so many options with these
Yeah.
figures for displays, whereas your standard Hot Toys is generally a pose, and that's
Yep.
your lot. But you've got lots of display options with these.
Yeah. Yep. They're definitely leading in that aspect, the accessories and the materials. The only thing obviously they don't have is the rooted hair, but I'm sure that would drive the cost up even more.
Yeah.
And it's based on the anime, right? So I think it would be
Exactly,
more,
yeah.
it would be better to have it sculpted anyways. But yeah, the coat, for instance, here, there's magnets on certain points of it, so you can clasp together and it stays closed. So that's awesome because one of the figures I have does that. So I'm pretty sure they're going to implement it here as well. The mouth on this puppet goes up and down. It's articulated. So each of these blue, I guess you want to call them, they're supposed to be like his energy, right? His like his essence that he uses to control things that all ninjas have that they manipulate in different ways. That's what gives them their abilities. But his here, this is supposed to be like a somewhat of a physical manifestation of that energy, and that's what he uses to control these puppets. So this figure comes with that, and you can see they attach to his fingers. But again, if I'm reading it right, each of these has a wire in it, so you can bend it as well to how you want. Yeah, so you can see down here there's a bunch of them, one for a set for each hand, which seems cool. But now that when I thought about it more, I think it could be kind of tedious, right? Because you have to go through and then like if you want to pose each one and get it just right, if you want to get in a certain pose, I can see one of those things where like you'll get in a pose and never want to touch it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's that his puppet, one of his puppets that the puppet that he comes with. It has the stand here that you can put it on, and you can kind of see it has also this attachment on his hand that goes on along with this coat. There's a wire in this coat as well. So yeah, just awesome
It's
overall.
very cool.
Yeah, very, very cool. And you see the head sculpts here on the bottom. So yeah, but again, this is one that I would appreciate. I don't think I was never drawn to this character, so I think this is one I may pass on. This is one that I'm probably going to leave out, but it does look cool. So for those who are a fan of this character, yeah, congrats to Rocket Toys making a figure that a character for a character that you love, I should say. So yeah, this is awesome, definitely cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what people do in their collections and how they pose it and things like that. So,
And is that the import price? Oh, sorry, would that be like Big Bad Toy Store pricing, or would that be from Hong Kong?
yeah, no, this is from what is it? I think it's 1/6 kit price. So yeah, the price in Asia, the Asian price. Yeah, sounds wrong.
It's
Asian
quite
price,
steep.
Price in Asia. It is, yeah, and they vary. Compared, especially if we compare it to like what the Tsunade, which was $248. But again, I think you can probably just chalk that up to her accessories. Yeah, they're not as much, and she doesn't come with. Yeah, exactly. What you get, and there's nothing in here that would need to be die cast, I don't think. So yeah, as opposed to this character here, you have all these metal wires here within like this rope, for instance, and then like I said, there's wires in each of these. So yeah, there's definitely a lot more here, and I think they've been reasonable so far. They kind of seems like they're reasonably priced on those. But all right, so that was Rocket Toys. Again, 2 more figures coming out from the Naruto line. They're killing it again there. I think I got they're working on some more. I think there's a few more that I believe they might have teased. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. No, I think actually that might be it. As far as what they teased so far and have actually revealed. So hopefully they have more coming up, because there's a couple of other figures that I would like to see made from them. Let's see here. So real quick, jumping on the chat. Trumbull, he's talking to Trumbull saying this slaps. Sorry, I still remember the episode when he fought. It was a good episode. This is a good looking figure. Rocket Toys and Game Toys seem to be killing it with the 1/6 anime figures. Yep, I agree. I don't have any Game Toys figures. The only ones that I know of are their Final Fantasy, and I heard nothing but good things about those figures. Just nothing but positive remarks for those. Trimble Dust also adding, I believe the Game Toys is not licensed, but still great figures. Yeah. And then, Chakra, for those of you that watch the anime, that's called the energy is called their Chakra. That's what those blue lines are. All right, so here, going on to the next one. Let's see, what do we got up? Make sure I'm following this right. All right, so now, switching it up to 1/6. Like I mentioned, we go over... I go over multiple scales, 1/6, but so that was all for the 1/6. So switching it up to the 1/12 scale, we have the Chosen One. You were the Chosen One. So this is Good Toys, Chosen One, third party, obviously, $86. So it's 12 scale, so it's around 6 inches. Let me see here if I got it down. Yes, around 6 inches in height. Due out this year, Q4 of 2024. Let's see here, 8 interchangeable hands. He's got leather boots, so that's a selling point. Got this cloak, his robotic arm, which we'll go over here. His laser sword, or his light swords. He has 2 of those, 2 hilts, and obviously the saber effects. I like how in 1/6 Kid is one of the places that has this, and he puts there in the description, assume this does not light up. So it doesn't seem like we know, but that's probably a good disclaimer there. I would probably put that to CYA yourself. But so head sculpt obviously is not the greatest, but we all can tell who it's supposed to be, aka Chosen One, if it wasn't obvious there. But even if that's the case, I would say as a generic Jedi, this still looks like to be a good figure, because you have the fabric clothing, the fabric accessories here. He comes with all these here, like I mentioned, his robotic arm, and so I think anyone looking for a generic Jedi, or again going back to what we were saying earlier, if this is decent enough for you, a good looking Anakin to have, Chosen One to have in your collection, this would be a good fit in there. Peter, what do you think about this one?
Not for me, this one, I'm afraid.
No, gotcha.
I mean, I don't collect a lot of 1/12. Well, I don't collect any 1/12 Star Wars, to be honest.
Okay, I was going to ask.
I do collect kind of comic book based characters and things like that.
Yeah.
So this isn't the one I would be picking up anyway. But the head sculpt, in terms of a 1/12 sculpt, in some of the shots it looks good. In others, it doesn't look like, you say, like Anakin at all. That one there where he's looking at his hand, I think looks pretty bad. But the costume looks good. Is it all cloth costume, I presume? It's
I believe so. That's what per the description it seems like that's what it is. Yeah.
So again, sorry, not for me, but if you're a Star Wars fan, I don't know if are there any licensed 1/12 scale figures of Anakin to this kind of spec with cloth costumes and things?
I don't believe so. I think that's what sets this apart.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's I think that's the major deciding factor here. Or the big draw for this is just at least that's what makes me consider this one. It's just the cloth fabric goods on this.
Yeah.
This figure, just obviously adding to a little bit more of that realism, even though like we're saying, the head sculpt isn't there. And obviously the lightsaber effect just added here, the lighting. Again, assume it's not lit up, but just nonetheless, like he has his coat here, his overcoat or his jacket, and that's why I included these here. But but I see what you're saying, Peter. Yeah, that's definitely a fair thought on that one. Phil, I know one of the things that we have in common, we collect or used to collect Black Series. I think for the most part, I think I'm pretty much done with those. I think I have all the figures that I want from Black Series. I still have some right here behind me. If there's one that comes out or some that come out that I feel like, okay, I'd be cool at that, I wouldn't mind getting it, but for the most part, I think I'm done. And I think you said the same, right? You used to collect
Yeah,
Black Series.
yeah.
Yeah.
Still
So
got,
what are your
still got quite a lot.
what's that? You sell a lot?
I've still got quite a lot of Black
Oh,
Series.
okay, nice. Yeah, you still got your collection. Okay, that's good to hear. I
Yeah, a
know
lot
some
of it.
people, once they transition to another line or another scale, they kind of dump all their other ones, which is
Yes.
understandable to pay for your new hobby, right, or your new
The
interest.
thing is that the ones I don't want, nobody else wants, so you can't sell them because you get nothing for them.
Yeah, yeah. They're asking how much
So,
will you give me to take it off your hands?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I've ended up keeping a lot more than I wanted to because there's so many that I just can't let them go for some reason.
yeah. No, I definitely
But
feeling in
yeah,
that one. So what are your thoughts on this being a Black Series collector also? Or you
I think you hit the nail on the head. As a generic Jedi, I think this is brilliant, and I hope this is the future of 12 scale.
Mhm.
Going down the cloth goods route because there's no way it's Anakin. The head sculpt is a good head sculpt as a
Yeah,
generic. It's definitely not Anakin. I can't see it in any
right.
of the photographs, but I love the robes. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely up for this. If this is what the future of 112 is, then
Yeah, and that's one of the
God
reasons
forbid
why.
I'll get rid of my 1.6.
Yeah. um, yeah. Someone comes up to you like, "Hey, have you ever thought about selling your 1/6 to maybe get some other figures?" And you're just like,
But y'all don't say that.
"Yeah, you don't say that. Don't you ever think that?" um,
No.
but yeah, this is no, yeah. There's a lot of. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's a lot of other third-party companies who are doing similar things in other lines, other IPs. They're making 112 scale figures with fabric goods, cloth
Yeah.
goods, and they're actually
As
doing
long as they're
a great
good, they're
job.
good quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This looks really good. I mean, I don't want. I think it was Mace, was it on the Black Series? Potentially had the cloth robe. So some of the
Oh,
Jedi
okay.
like cloth, and they're so poofy and
Yeah.
they're horrendous. I mean, you can't do
Yeah.
anything with them. But if they're going down this route, where I think they look really good, really really good.
Yeah. I know Felix Toys is one company that does one third party company that does figures, non-licensed figures. Of course, if you want to go the license route, Mezco, there's people always say, and I
Yeah.
agree that they're, mini Hot Toys because they got all the cloth. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Mezco.
Yeah.
But yeah, other companies are starting to jump into the 1/12 scale. Who is it? Was it InArt that is coming out with that?
Yes, the Batman, the Bale Batman.
Yeah, and then who's doing is that Jane? Someone's doing the Joker also. Isn't there a licensed Joker in 1/12?
Oh
No.
yes.
Oh, Mars
yes, you're right.
Toys.
Yes,
That's
Mars.
not licensed, but yeah, Mars is doing that prank
The-
villain in 1/12.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that looks really
so
good.
yeah,
Again.
yeah, it does. Just I know people say this collectors community, the shrink ray. It's
Shrink
just
ray.
yeah, it looks almost just a 1-to-1 replica, just a different scale of the 1/6 Mars prank villain. So yeah, adding more again options, right? More people are jumping
Yeah,
into the fray of 1/12 and 1/6. So it's just awesome, man. It's just an awesome time to be a collector. I know we said that before, but it's true. Which is again why I titled this episode "Something for Everybody," because there's just a lot of different options out there. Even what we discussed so far, right? You have anime, you have X-Men, you have Beetlejuice, you have mythic figures based on mythology, and Star. It's just there's a lot out there, and it's just awesome. It's just loving
Yeah,
it.
we're all still hungry for more.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Give us more. Yeah, we want more. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let me see here. Going on real quick. Let me see. Ben Thomas says, "Ooh, my FOMO hurts." Yeah. Ow, my FOMO. Yeah.
Need to get that looked at, Ben.
Yeah. Get that checked out. All right. So here going on here. How are you doing, Peter? Are you okay in time or?
I'll have to leave in about 5 minutes.
Okay, we'll go with you first here. I'll just jump into this. Or actually, you might probably just call it now because I know we're going back to anime Dragon Ball, so I know it's not your thing. So unless you want to give your thoughts on this real quick or no.
What the hell is that?
I'll take that as a yes. Go ahead. You got the floor. Yeah.
What is that?
No, I'm
What's-
just playing. Yeah. This is from Dragon Ball Z. But no worries. You don't have to touch on this one.
Yeah.
Real quick, though. Yeah. Again, Peter, thank you so much. Let me minimize this here. Remove that. thank you so much again for joining us. Appreciate your time. I know it's a rare opportunity when our schedules sync up like this, and so thank you for spending your Saturday. I know you're a busy guy, and sharing everyone what you got going on with the charity. Again, all links to Peter's YouTube channel and social media is down in the description below. Please take a look and help out where you can. No pressure, though. I know he's mentioned that also. There's no pressure. So any help in any way in any part of the world, right, it'd be appreciated. But Peter, thank you again for joining us. Anything else you want to plug?
Just said thank you so much, guys. This has been really, really enjoyable. I've enjoyed it. So love to come back at another point. I'll get you guys on my shows as well. So thank you so much. It's been great.
All right, sir. Yeah, thank you very much.
Catch
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye now. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
See ya. All right, and then there were two.
Indeed.
Yeah. All right, holding down. Here we go. So bringing it back up. So there's got a couple more figures, 1/12 here. Let me enhance this. Let's see here. And your thoughts are probably going to be the same, but it's all right. You can just kick back and listen to me gush about this if you want there, Phil.
No, I mean, I'm a sucker for a good figure, and if it's, let's say, as long as you don't necessarily need to make a figure part of your main collection. I've got like a lot of the Marvel Legends, the zombie line they did.
Yeah, my man, right there. Fist bump.
I've got a few of them. They're not part of any particular collection, but I've got them. I enjoy them.
Yeah. Yep. Same. I think I got all of them from the What If line.
Yeah,
right?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are awesome figures. Yeah, those are really well done. Just like the detail and the sculpt on those. Yeah, with the missing part of his leg, you can see right through it in the bone. Yeah, it's so awesome. Yeah. Oh man, I'm hoping they bring those out in 1/6 scale. I know they teased Hot Toys teased the cap, right? They've teased it. Yeah. But man, if they come out with that Wanda, that zombie Scarlet Witch, that zombie Wanda, that'd be awesome. They already have a zombie Iron Man from that, Spider-Man, but so I'd be okay if they didn't bring that out. But that zombie Wanda and the zombie Cap, oh man, I would definitely get those.
Because they've done a few of the lines, haven't they? They've done the Hydra Stomper and
Captain Carter,
Captain
Infinity
Carter,
Ultron,
Strange.
Strange. Yeah, yep. So we'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they come out with those other ones. Let's see here. Okay, so Dragon Ball Z, sticking with the anime. We got from Bandai Tamashii Nations is the SH Figure Arts King Cold, and this just went up for pre-order recently. And I'm pretty sure it didn't explicitly say, but I'm pretty sure this is a premium Bandai exclusive, meaning you can only. Well, technically, this is only sold on their site, but there's other retailers who buy it and then turn around and sell it. Again, BBTS is doing that, but there's a markup on them because, again, they're buying something that's exclusive, so they're turning around and adding a markup on that. But yeah, you can buy it there for a markup, but it's still available on Premium Bandai's site, $150. And at first, I was like, man, $150, what the hell? Why is it so expensive? And then I started seeing more pictures, and I did some reading on the and the details. And it turns out, so you get, everything you see here. Let me keep going here. So there's a alternate head. Let's see here. Hands, 3 types of hands, or 3 pairs, it looks like. 3 expression. Let's see, face plates, foldable arms that you see there. He has a sword, his cape. There's a sword here. But wait, there be more. He comes with this chair here, his throne/chair. In the description, they have it as, seat parts. So I'm pretty sure it sounds like it's just going to come in like certain pieces. I don't know how many, but you have to put it together, which makes sense, right? You want to save space. But yeah, just that was the big draw for me. It was not only is King Cold, for those that don't know, that's the father of Frieza and Cooler. And that's why they have him here next to Mecha Frieza. And this is just for comparison, how big he actually is. Let me see. He's, let me see, how tall is he? 8.6 inches. So compared to a standard 1/12 figure, around 6 inches. So he's kind of tower over him, which is about 22 centimeters. Yeah. And I can see it made sense why they did him, because it kind of seems similar to was it Cooler? I forgot which form it was, but there's a similar figure, Cooler, where he looks kind of similar and is, again, gigantic figure. And I'm pretty sure they reused some parts here. But yeah, this just looks awesome. This one I was I was pretty hyped on. I jumped on this one personally, but yeah, do you have any of these anime type figures? I know you said you don't really watch any, but are anything like this
I
in
don't.
12 scale?
And,
No,
and
okay,
that's
gotcha.
generally because I miss them. You know, when these things, other than when we discussed in the background about watching Robo Show, I'll see
Yeah,
them on there and something's
yep,
intriguing. But generally, I just miss out on all of these. Never
gotcha.
seen them.
Yeah, these are definitely yeah, exactly. I'm right there with you. You mentioned Robo. Yeah, I watch Robo weekly also. That's how he helps keep on other figures that I don't cover and just make sure I don't miss anything. So yeah, good content out there. Foosh, or now it's not with Foosh anymore. It's just Robo Don't Know now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So these again, pretty good representations of the anime. These figures, very articulated. Their accessories, there's some accessories that come with. They're pretty interchangeable. You know, faceplates I mentioned, and hands and stuff, and things like that. So yeah, they've been doing it for a while. Go ahead.
I think figure arts, that's what they're renowned for, isn't it? Their articulation and
Yep. Yeah, exactly. The anime figures, the live action versions they do aren't as great. The face sculpts, like when the Marvel figures they do, not as good. Kind of bad in my opinion. I would say there's a Marvel Legends now. Their head sculpts look better than I would say the SH figure arts.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But their anime characters, their anime figures, Bandai's killing it on those. But yeah, so let's see here, real quick. Philip the Fool in the house. What is up, guys? Thank you for joining us, Philip. Appreciate another Phil here with us. Yeah, he's saying I need Zombie Cap in 6 scale. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep. You and me and a plethora of other people are in that same category there. Bring on that Zombie Cap. AJ Groos is saying somehow I managed to avoid SH Figure Arts DBZ figures. For now, as a big fan as I am, I just keep hoping someone does 1/6 a day, and I'll go nuts there. Yeah, I think you're not alone on that one. I've heard people say the same thing. I know they have some. They came out with some 1/6 scale figures of Dragon Ball. I can't remember who did them, but it was a while ago. I don't know if they were that great. I think I heard bad things, but nothing to this degree here of what figure arts are. So yeah, I'd be interested to see what a company can do on their Dragon Ball line, on their figures, like how they can come out with them, and I'm open to it. Again, options, right? Options are good, so we'll see what happens on that. See, and he's also adding, I'm avoiding the rest of the Prime 1 statues after getting the Goku Deluxe. Yeah, I haven't seen too many of the Prime 1s. I have to go back and look. I have seen the Sume art statues, and those are pretty awesome. Those are pretty sick statues. That's a lot. The anime statues in particular, I think, are really awesome in general. Right? Naruto, Dragon Ball, they just look so awesome. Very dynamic and a lot going on. So cool. I touched on those my last episode on Naruto statues, and we touched on some other ones. So yeah, really awesome. All right, continuing on here. So we got to go to Please See website. Put that note in for myself. Let's see here. Going on to the 3-0 MDLX ThunderCracker. So I mentioned in the last episode, I went over Skywarp from 3-0, and that ThunderCracker was going to be coming soon, or shouldn't be too long after. And sure enough, we got it here. So very similar. For those that don't know, let me try not to butcher this one because I messed it up last time. So the MDLX 3-0 line is the figures that are their 6-inch figures, right? They're based on like 6-inch. I don't want to say 12 scale because that's where I messed up and confused a bunch of people last time. So 6-inch, so about the same height as your 112. Yeah, no, I kind of understood where they were coming from. Like, okay, I don't throw people who weren't aware. I may be confusing them, so I just wanted to clarify that. But yeah, so these are about 6 inches in height, more or less. Like they kind of are meant to go with that. That's their 3-0's version of this. Whereas the DLX line for Transformers specifically, that's more of their 12-inch figures, right? So you can kind of comparable again to like their 1/6 scale figures. But again, they're Transformers, right? So they should typically be bigger than humans. But they're about like the same height as those scaled figures. So just an FYI. So yeah, let's see here. Specifically, the height on this guy, where is he at? So yeah, 7.8 inches. So it's about 20 centimeters, 119 big ones, 50 points of articulation. So for those that don't know, 3-0 is known for their engineering in articulation on their figures, which I'm a big fan of. I have quite a few of their DLX Transformers and some of their MDLX figures, and yeah, it's just so impressive. I'm blown away every time. I know I say that every time, but it's just so awesome. So I know every time we come on, we got to give them let's see, a round of applause where they at for the work and for the price point too. I mean, just like the engineering and the thought and what goes into this figure and for what they charge is just awesome. So kudos to them. Let's see, due out Q2 of this year also. So not much compared to Skywarp. Skywarp was a purple one, so they're almost identical. The only difference is they come with different faceplates. So if that's something that'll sell you, that's your selling point, that's something to consider. So there's a faceplate, I should say. They so each come with 3 faceplates. One of them is different, so they both come with the standard expression and a creepy face is what they put. This one though, this ThunderCracker, comes with a surprise expression, and the other one, the Skywarp, comes with what it say, like a sneering or a snarling expression or something like that. So, but other than that, everything else is the same other than the color. But yeah, articulation is on point with these die casts. It uses die casts in the, at least for sure, in the frame and the body on the joints for durability and to hold up with the posing that you can do. It's funny when I mentioned the face, the only difference being the facial expressions. Reminds me of that episode in The Simpsons, how where Lisa and Smithers are all into Malibu Stacy, and then they come out with one and all it has is just a hat. It's like the same figure as the previous, but like now with a hat, and people were just going crazy over it. Like, oh, I need that hat. So yeah, this one in this case is just, oh, I need that face, that surprise face. But yeah, do you collect Transformers at all, or in any form, any scale? Are you into Transformers at all?
As a child, originally with Star Wars, and then it moved on to Transformers. I love Transformers. I love all the movies. I know some people slate a lot of them, but I watch them over and over again. I love Transformers. And
which movies or do you prefer?
I actually quite like the new one.
Yeah,
that's really good. Isn't it a new one? Is it another one coming out this year as well?
Yeah, Rise of the Beasts.
Rise of the Beasts is the latest, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's
the latest
really,
one.
Really good. I love this MDLX line and DLX. It's just, I'd love to get into it, but I just know I've got no space for it. Because the thing is, besides the 1/6, I've got quite a lot of Lego. And it takes so much space.
Yeah.
But someday, I'd love to go back and get all of these. The Optimus, Megatron, Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Love this line.
That's where my jumping point with ThreeZero was my favorite Transformers movie was is Bumblebee, just because that was the first time where we got where they did that opening with the Transformers in like their G1 style, but the way it was, oh man, that was just so. Oh man, yeah, I needed a Kleenex after that one because it was like, oh man, that's just so awesome. It was just beautiful. It was beautiful. Even as short as it was, was that, and then there was another snippet later on in the movie. It was just, man, beautiful. And so I got the ThreeZero DLX Bumblebee from there, and then it kind of just branched off from there. I ended up getting variations of Optimus. I saw, like, have you seen the War of Cybertron series on Netflix?
No, not yet.
Okay, yeah, I really enjoyed that show, the Transformers. It's like again, it's CG, so it's animated, but I thought it was well done. So if you're a Transformers fan, maybe check that out. That was really good. And so I got a couple of figures from there. ThreeZero again. I got the Nemesis Prime, which is the black and red one, and it has an animated look. And so I thought, well, I don't mean it's ThreeZero. It's going to be cool, but I was accepting the fact that it's going to be more animated in appearance because that's what it's based on. But when I got it in hand, the paint job on there, just the weathering on the figure I was just still blown. I was like, wow, they still made this look awesome despite it being based on the animated version of Nemesis Prime.
Yeah,
it was just so, I was just so stoked. And I have it, and then it just looks awesome. Yeah, so like I said, I'm a big fan of what they do and the figures that they're doing.
And I love that they don't transform. I know it's counterintuitive, but I love the fact that they don't transform.
Yeah, and again, going back to options, right? So for those who just want the articulation, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I that these specifically, they don't transform, but that's in favor of the articulation, right? Because if you haven't transformed, then of course when they go to design and engineer it, they have to account for how it transforms in the articulation. That doesn't always work out. So for those who just want to leave it in robot mode, which a lot of people do anyways, they can just articulate to their heart's extent here. To their little collector's heart extent. So yeah, it's just awesome. I agree with you, and that's where I started. I know I mentioned this before, but I jumped on the Hasbro Transformers, and I started from there, and that's then expanded to eventually to 6 scale and everything else. But yeah, I got my fix. If I wanted a transforming Transformer figure, I already have that on the Hasbro line, and then I get these for just the articulation and the quality on these. But yeah, so here, let me see what some the people on the chat here think. The lovely chat. Let's see here. Trimble Dust is waiting on Jazz from ThreeZero. Yep, that's another one that people are requesting there. Still a lot of figures they can do. I'm personally waiting on a MDLX Soundwave. I'm trying to think now. I don't think they did a Soundwave. I know they did a 1/6. 1/6. There you go. See, I'm the 12-inch, I should say 12-inch, or the DLX line. I'll just say that. The DLX line from Bumblebee. I got that Soundwave. And that's awesome.
I haven't seen the Jazz. Is it the 911 representation? Is it?
I'm not sure actually which version that would be. Yeah, I would, because they kind of they also, what I didn't mention, ThreeZero also kind of puts like their little flair on the Transformers. I don't think it's a direct representation of the cartoon, the G1 cartoon or War for Cybertron. It's kind of like a Robotech type Gundam type feel to these. And so, I'm not sure. I think they would for the most part follow the same color scheme on Jazz. I'm thinking running in Trimble Dust. I think Jazz was the red one. He was like the red short car. I can't remember what color he was, but maybe I'm getting those confused. Is that what you were talking about, Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. AJ Agrusa saying the Goku's amazing. It's my grail, my favorite piece. I just don't have room for too many statues, if any. Yep. We all feel you on that one, man. Or I would keep getting them, or so I tell myself. Yeah. Ben Thomas, hit the like. Friends, if you haven't already, let's support. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Good, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, if only if you feel it's deserved. I'm not all about trying to, selling myself like that. I kind of like, if you enjoy the content, I'll try to let it speak for itself. And what I'm doing, I'll leave it up to you guys to decide whether you want to support me in that aspect or not. Just you watching is enough for me, so I appreciate that. But any other support that you provide, whether subscribing, like button, or whatever, is always appreciated. So thank you in advance. As I always say, much love. Appreciate it all. Tremble Dust, their MDLX line is pretty damn good. DLX is on point. Wouldn't mind a premium. Bumblebee, like Lou stated, but that is a hard to chase. Yeah, some of their premium scale figures, I think, are around 18-inch. The ThreeZero Transformer premium scale figures are kind of hard to come by now. We're trying to look for those. Yep, we also got a one from Philip the Fool. Love the MDLX line. P-Rock Zilla saying, I stick to DLX, but I'm not going to lie, a little upset that they're giving us more of the characters we want in this MDLX line. Yeah. I mean, if they're selling, right? If there seems like they're doing well and people are grabbing them and they're selling more, I know they're a lower price compared to the DLX, but if they're selling more in quantity, right, and that volume is making up for it, then I'm sure they're going to stick to it. But yeah, I agree. Maybe they'll make some more in a 6 scale. We'll see if they come back to that. And I can't. The latest one I can think of, correct me again if I'm wrong, the 1/6, or I should, sorry, dang, there I go again. The DLX Transformer ThreeZero figure, the latest one they have that they put out was that, what is it? The Optimus Primal from, speaking of Rise of the Beast, Phil, ThreeZero has the DLX. They have an Optimus Primal coming out. The first 6 scale figure, if I recall correctly, that has interchangeable faceplates. So it's going to light up, and it has like a snarling, I think a snarling head or faceplate, and then 2 other ones. Yeah, if you haven't already, I would check that out and see what you think of that one. But yeah, it's 12-inch.
Sure. Was that in the showcase was it in Japan or something just before Christmas? I've seen it. I'm not sure whether Justin or somebody covered it. It looked it looked amazing.
Oh, are you talking about the Yolo Park one?
Is that what it was? I can't remember though.
Because there's one that's like like upper echelon tier Transformer Optimus Primal where it breathes. I covered that in one of my previous streams, but yeah, it has like a breathing function. It shoots out steam, and it's like huge and diecast as well. And it's yeah.
I have to go back. I have to go back. And have a
Okay,
look.
gotcha. Yeah, there's that one, but that's yeah. Really, I think it's like, man, I can't remember. I'm take this with a grain of salt, but I think it was in the thousands. I think as far as price point, I believe. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I covered that, but yeah, I covered that in one of my previous streams. That is also impressive, but I think more than I'm willing to spend on a Transformers figure. Trimble Dust is looks like they just paused the premium line, but I think it's because the MDLX line is selling well. Yep, I agree. Don't quote him on that one. I beg to differ. I say quote him. You know, we aren't spitting facts here, so if Trimble Dust is on here speaking it, then it must be fact. No, I'm just playing it. Don't go after him. Don't go. No. Leave him be. Leave him be. Let's see here. One gripe I have with ThreeZero, they are slow waiting on figs from them for a little. Yeah, they Trimble Dust again talking about their releases. But I'm personally impatient. I know that comes with part of the territory, right? It's just, hey, it comes out when it comes out, as long as the figure is good. Or at least, you know, to what I'm expecting as far as like, you know, what they're going to deliver, then I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, here's clarification for Jazz. Trimble is saying Jazz was a portion of the cartoons and the one Megatron ripped in two in the first Transformers live action movie. F in the chat for Jazz. Gotcha. Gotcha. F, yeah. Everyone's like agreeing with them. Yeah. Let's see here. Ben Thomas Feezy is too nice. Chinese shows take a ton of work. I want to say that's a typo there. Chinese shows. Don't go after him on that one. I think that's just a typo. Takes a ton of work to put together that deserves a like with the nut symbol. Relax, go nuts. Thanks, good sir. You are too kind. Appreciate the support though, as always, and the support, man. Good looking out, Ben. Appreciate you, man. And of course, if you haven't already, check out Ben Thomas's channel. He's part of the Friends of the channel here on my section of my YouTube, I guess on the homepage. And he's every Sunday he's doing like Let's Get Nuts, same as tomorrow Sunday. So be sure to check him out, doing good stuff. You can find me there occasionally when I can, but yeah, also another content creator / YouTuber that is doing a good job over there. Let's see here. Yep, Optimus Primal looks amazing. Okay, yeah, he just confirmed it's a typo. He meant these shows, not Chinese shows.
I want to know what Chinese shows he's watching.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
I know, right? Yeah, those Chinese shows take a lot of work. You know, believe you me. That kind of reminds me of, you watch Seinfeld? Are you a fan of Seinfeld?
I'm not. No, again, something my wife is a fan of. She loves it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not me.
There's some episodes where like George's parents, you know, when someone calls their house and they don't want to pretend they're not, or they want to pretend like that they got the wrong number, they answer their phone and be like, Chinese food. I think they've actually done that to George himself
for a bit.
Yeah. George will call his parents' house and they'll answer saying that, and he's like, what the hell? It's funny. That reminds me of that. All right. Let's see. So I think we got one more figure. Thank you all for sticking with us this long, especially to Phil, taking up some of your weekend time here to spend it with
that's fine.
Me and us here in the community, man. One more for you.
My wife hates it.
Yeah, yeah. She has yet to still acknowledge and accept it, or she's still kind of in like, I don't know what's going on with this.
Another parcel. That's what you generally get. Another parcel.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Let's see. All right. Sticking with ThreeZero. I saw this recently. I thought this is one of those figures that just look badass. The color scheme. We have this Iron Man Mark 50 black and gold edition. So this is where it gets confusing. This is DLX, but in the Iron Man line. So DLX for ThreeZero with their Iron Man are more comparable to their 6-inch figures, whereas in their Transformers line, the MDLX is what was their 6-inch figure. So yeah, it's kind of confusing. I mean, for those of you that aren't familiar, aren't aware, who don't follow that, it can get kind of confusing. So again, that's what, you know, I'm here to do, and others in YouTube to kind of clarify that. So DLX is more comparable again to their 6-inch figures, like Marvel Legends Black Series and things like that. So just an FYI on that. Specifically, so this one here, 6.9 inches, so it's about 17.5 centimeters tall. This one has 48 points of articulation and due out this quarter of this year. So the thing with this one though, this is limited. This is a limited figure because it's usually with the variants they do that. So there was an event in Taiwan called I think it was held by Beast Kingdom. They called it their WoW event, WOW with the exclamation mark, right? I'm not sure what that's all about, but they just had that recently, and that's where this was shown. And for that event specifically, they had 100 pieces that were available for pre-order that were sold there. So only 100 at that event. So that kind of just shows you, how limited this is. They did say ThreeZero did say that this is going to be available worldwide later on, but again, still limited. So this could be one of those ones, if you really want, you might have to be like on the draw, camping out online, like we were talking about earlier with that Rogue Mondo figure.
Yeah.
You got to be on it and ready. Set your alarms, set double alarms, reminders. Yeah, all of that. So yeah, this one, it just looks cool. I think it comes with the typical set that their other Mark 50 thing comes with. But yeah, just this color scheme, it does light up, so you can see the chest and the eyes do light up. That's not a just an effect for the promos. But yeah, I have a couple of these also. Then again, similar aspect in that the articulation is great. They're die cast. So yeah, this just looks I think looks awesome. What do you think on this?
It does look incredible,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be all over.
There's just some color schemes that work. I know we were talking recently, the community was talking recently about that Superior Spider-Man, the black and red one.
Yeah.
And just how badass that looks. And I agree. And that one I did pre-order just because, for one, I don't have yet a Spider-Man with those extra tentacles, claws, arms, Waldos, whatever you want to call them. The suit just looks awesome. And same with this one. There's this color scheme here, the black and gold. Oh man, it just looks magnifique. French kiss, chef's kiss, French kiss too, I guess, depending on what kind of kiss you want to go for. But yeah, chef's kiss here. Man. So yeah, any other thoughts on this? Is this something that
I'm looking at this thinking, I think I'll be popping on. Has 1/6 got this? 1/6
no, so this actually hasn't gone up for pre-order yet. It's still TBD on where and when. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just follow their ThreeZero social media.
Yeah, I'm intrigued
closely. Their Twitter, their Instagram. Get their fax number. Get their pager number. However you want to, watch their website. If they still do RSS feeds, whatever it is, their Reddit. I said all those reminders to make sure if you really want this, you get it. But yeah, it hasn't gone up yet for pre-order anywhere. So just pay attention to that. But do you have any? I know obviously you said you don't collect any more Black Series. Is there any 112 figures that you do collect still, or that you do buy?
I was going to ask a question.
Enhance.
I have the Iron Patriot, and its leg snapped.
Oh no!
I don't know if you can get that there.
Oh yeah.
That peg is stuck in there.
Which is that a ThreeZero figure, or which figure is that?
It's a 3-0, yeah.
Oh wow, interesting.
I don't know. I've tried to glue it. I just don't know how to fix it. I'm gutted because this is my favorite figure.
Yeah. Anything to pass on? Like how did that break?
It fell off a shelf.
Fell off a shelf. The dreaded
leg snapped, but unfortunately, yeah, the dreaded fall. But
yeah.
What's left of the peg isn't big. I can't pick away at what's left in there.
Yeah. So my immediate thought, from what I've heard on those, is you might have to do some dremeling if you have a Dremel, and Dremel a hole right in the middle.
I'm afraid to do that all the time.
Yeah. I mean, because you don't. I can't think of any other options, right?
Yeah, it may only be my only option. Yeah.
Yeah, so you might have to do like a Dremel, like right in the where the peg would come out, like Dremel a hole there in the middle, and then get a nail or some sort of needle and put that in the middle of that hole to use as some sort of like a base, kind of like a splint type of thing, right? You put that in there and you can attach that way, and obviously you won't have as much articulation, but if you wanted to reattach it, unfortunately it's going to take some work. So if anyone out there in the chat or in the comments has any other suggestions on for feeling how you can repair that, let us know, because that does suck. I fortunately haven't had to do that yet, but I did watch some videos in case that happens and to see what the possible outcome is or the possible alternatives on what to do with that. So hopefully you get that fixed, man. Because
Thanks, man.
how long have you had that figure for?
I'd say about 2 years, maybe.
Oh, okay, so less than a while. Okay.
18 months to 2 years, yeah. I've got one of the, I think it's Mark 46 Iron Man, but he's not die-cast. He's all plastic. But it's like you say, the DLX, the 3-0 figures, I think are fantastic.
Yeah, and
this looks incredible.
Yeah, right. I might, yeah. So if there's something you're interested, hopefully you're able to get one. We'll help each other out, though. I think if I hear anything, I'll definitely let you know.
Yeah, 100%. Vice versa, yeah, definitely.
And if I see this go up at all. But now that I know that you're also a 3-0 fan, yeah, 3-0 fans stick together, unite. But yeah, I was gonna say I got one of the other ones I got was that Hulkbuster, because I know they came out with that Hulkbuster. Also, did you get that one, 3-0 Hulkbuster?
I didn't know.
Yeah,
one figure.
Yeah, because the other ones they had were expensive. There was like the Bandai one, and I forgot who else had a Hulkbuster out. But they were really pricey. And 3-0 came along and they announced there was like, oh, okay, here's my opportunity to get one. And so you can get that. And if you got the Mark, which Mark was it? I think it was the Mark 43. I can't remember the one that actually would go in the Hulkbuster. If you is it the 43? Or one of those. Anyways, the one that would go that would be associated with it. Yeah, you can actually take off the torso and put it in there. Yeah, it's so badass. It's so sick. But same articulation with that. But yeah, so something to look forward to. We'll keep an eye out. All of you out there who are trying to get it, and you want to, hopefully you get it. Good luck to those who are trying. If you want, I was gonna say, if any of those who are interested and want to start some sort of like group thing to see if we can all help each other out and keep an eye out for it, let me know. I'll definitely be interested in getting that going, because I wouldn't mind trying to get this, or if I can help somebody else out. Also, if be a backup, if I can't get it, but if I can't get one for myself, or I hear or see something or anything, or if I change my mind, I should say, and then if you want to help, let me know, and I'll see what I can do.
It's kind of funny because I think if this was released in 1.6, I think it'd get slated, and everyone would. I think it'd get slated by the community. I think if this was a 1.6, I think.
Yeah.
But as
like
as
another
DLX,
Iron Man.
Yeah, but I think as a DLX, that's fantastic. I figure.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're right, because they have a bunch of variants already, and Hot Toys came out with 1/6 scale, and I know people are getting tired of those, but obviously they still sell. Hence why they're still doing them. So we may not be into them here in the States or just anywhere else in the world, but there's definitely people who still are buying them and making Hot Toys money, right? So but I agree. I definitely like this. This looks good. Trimble just saying you can go with a consensual kiss. Yeah, that always works, dude. Consensual is always good, right? Mark, thanks for confirming. Philip the Fool says he's saying the Mark 43. Every collector for themselves. This is Sparta. As far as he's referring to trying to get this figure. Yeah. There are, for those that don't know, there are. I still need to partake in them, but there's I know there's Twitter groups and Reddit groups where there's collectors helping each other. Collectors, obviously, I'm sure on Facebook too. I haven't really seen those, but there are collectors who help out each other. Hey, I'm in this area. Does anyone need this figure? Which is really cool. That's the core of what the community, and what I love about it is just to that level, helping people out. And they'll just a mass message or a picture hey, I'm at Target right now, or I'm at Walmart, or I'm at wherever. This figure's here in stock. Does anyone need it? And that's just so cool. Every time I see that, it's just gets me right here, man. It's just because that's what it should be all about, right there, helping each other out. And
still be very careful, but there are really good people out there that.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's definitely those who want to take advantage. Of course, you have those scalpers and people who are just trying to scam and make a buck, and those kind of definitely give the community and others a bad name. But you kind of look past that and just see. Just like with anything else, right? And people, if you just try to see the good in everyone and give them the benefit of doubt where possible, and but still tread carefully, I think would be a little better off in general. So, let alone the collecting community, right? But that was all I had. Thank you again, Phil, for joining me. Appreciate it.
No
again, taking the time.
Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, I know our schedules don't always sync up, but anytime you're available for whatever reason, in the evenings when I do normally do this, let me
100%.
know. Open invite,
100%.
reach out, send me a message, and I'll do the same. And next time I do a stream in the mornings at some point, I will let you know. I'll reach out to you. But is there anything you want to plug? You don't have your own YouTube channel, right? Or unless I'm mistaken.
It's barely a channel. I did put a
Okay.
collection video on there once, but yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
I don't generally put a lot on there. I'm more sort of photography side of things, Instagram. And
Yeah, which is awesome. Again, check out the Empire_Strikes. I have again links in the description below. Check out his photography. Doing
Thanks.
what I noticed is you have your own style. I think that's part of what every photographer looks for, right? They trying to come up with something that's their own. And I noticed for you, it's got like those close-up shots, and they come out great. So that's just awesome.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Every time I see those, So it seems like you found your. Would I be correct in saying you found your style, your niche for?
I think so. Yeah, I've been at it for quite some time. Yeah, but they seem to be the ones that are working at the moment. So stick with the winning formula.
Yeah. So good stuff, man. Looking forward to seeing what more you do, and if you want to progress as a photographer, looking forward to seeing what's to come on your content. All right. So as for me, real quick, Philip the Fool is saying, speaking of collectors helping each other out, thanks so much, Feezy, for letting me know. Yeah. Oh, the Carnage. Yeah. Can't wait to. Yeah, man. Of course. Yeah. Phil and the other Philip the Fool, I should say, we help each other out. Again, going back, I'm all about helping other collectors, and I informed him about the Mayfex Carnage that went up, and he was able to get it, and vice versa. Just this morning, he was like, "Hey, there's a sale on the Mythic Legions, some Mythic Legions figures, the Valiant Knight, I think it was, or whatever it was." He's like, "If you want them, now's your opportunity to get it." And so, I went. I was looking at, that I don't have that figure. It looks like an awesome figure, so I got it. And sure enough, not too short after, it ended up selling out. So. Man, thanks again. Good looking out, Phil. Appreciate you. Shout out to him. Again, another great photographer. Check out his IG.
He is,
on there. He's helping the community by doing collaborations, right? He does a good job of getting other photographers together, and they do collaborations on his channel or his account, his IG account. So also doing good work out there, man. Philip the Fool. Check his stuff out as well. I'll put his link in after our stream in the description as well.
Great.
So check out his stuff. So much love, Philip. Thanks, man. Good looking out. All right. So as for me, on my other channel, Feezy's Media, I'm doing a best MCU trilogy stream later on tonight. So that's 7:45 p.m. Pacific time, 10:45 East Coast, and I'll be joined by Cam's Collection, Austin, Nicholas, and Reverse Zio, Carlos. They'll be joining me, and we'll go through that discussion. Been looking forward to doing that for a while. And again, that's on my other channel where I just discuss entertainment media, movies, TV shows, video games, the other hobbies that I have in my life. So check that out. Thank you. I appreciate that. Link in the description also for my other channel in there, or you can just Feezy's Media, similar to Feezy's Figures, but obviously replace the figures for media. Right, pretty self-explanatory. But thanks again all. With that, I'll let you all go. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great one. Hopefully you're safe from the weather. If it's bad in your area, hopefully it calms down and it gets better for you all soon. So hang in there. With that, I'll catch you on the chat. I'll talk to you later.